At the Psychic Academy, the atmosphere was buzzing as everyone busily prepared for the awakening competition. However, Ninfong, the main character, remained calm, eyes glued to the screen, deeply immersed in gaming with an overwhelming strategy. He was confident that victory was already in his hands. But just as he was about to defeat his opponent, a figure suddenly rushed in. Jue, Ninfong's close friend, without a word, delivered a thunderous slap that left him dazed, standing with crossed arms. Jue glared sternly, her voice cold. Ninfong, what are you doing? The awakening test is about to start, and instead of preparing, you're hiding here playing games. Under her scrutinizing gaze, Ninfong lowered his head, forcing a crooked smile. Playing games is actually a mix of rest and study. Besides, I'm already 18. At most, I can only awaken a normal profession with 2 stars, unlike Miss Wang, who awakened a 5-star profession at just 15. So why should I suffer like that? Later, flattering you should be enough. Ninfong's words, tinged with boredom and laziness, made Due frown briefly, her anger flaring up. Without hesitation, she stepped forward, grabbing his collar tightly, determined to teach him a memorable lesson. Due's appearance immediately drew all eyes from the surrounding classmates. They whispered excitedly, their eyes sparkling with admiration. Isn't that Goddess Uong? She must have just joined the special training. Awakening a 5-star profession at 16, a genius never seen in the province for years. Beautiful, from a prestigious family, highly talented, and so far ahead of everyone else. But then they couldn't help but wonder, eyes fixed on Ninfong. Why is Goddess Wong hanging out with a notorious trash like him, almost 18 and still not awakened? They say they're childhood friends, but how could an orphan like Ninfong be worthy of Goddess Wong? In Nam Tin, a world blending gaming and reality, the 2025 National Awakening Adventurer Competition was in full swing at 7th High School. Anyone aged 16 or older had the chance to awaken psychic powers and become an adventurer. At this moment, all the contestants had gathered to hear the rules. Under Due's pressure, Ninfong was also present, though his face clearly showed boredom. He muttered to himself, wondering why Due was so stubborn. I've come here 3 times already. Isn't this just for rookies? The contestants lined up in 2 neat rows, waiting for their names to be called to enter the measuring area. Those who successfully awakened would receive a basic set of gear corresponding to their profession, ready for the combat test. While lining up with the others, Ninfong maintained a nonchalant expression, absent-mindedly watching the crowd. Whispered conversations buzzed nonstop. One excited voice said, I hope I can awaken as a mage. Another laughed loudly with excitement. I prefer the strength profession. Real men face their opponents head-on. Another voice chimed in admiringly. The agility profession is cool too, killing people invisibly. Then someone laughed and teased, you guys don't get it. The best profession is stay-at-home mom. It was Ninfong's turn, a student from class 12A2, to step into the measuring area. Seeing him, the crowd immediately burst into mocking laughter, mixed with sharp murmurs. Hey, isn't that the senior from grade 12? The legendary figure, always following Goddess Wong Due around all day. Thought he was some big deal. What's the result? 18 years old and still not awakened. If he never awakens, he's truly useless. The competition inspector Kai V looked at Ninfong with a gentle smile, speaking softly as if to soothe him. Don't be nervous, start when you're ready. Press your hand on the spirit stone and relax your mind. Ninfong placed his hand on the spirit stone, and immediately the stone emitted a soft glow. The surrounding crowd held their breath, eyes glued to him, eagerly waiting to see what power he would awaken. Kivi also watched closely, silently, hoping Ninfong would create a miracle. The light from the spirit stone gradually turned into a brilliant blue, a sign of the magic system. The whole hall buzzed with excitement, eyes sparkling with anticipation to see how many stars his profession would be awakened with. After a few tense seconds, the result clearly appeared on the spirit stone, awakened with a first-level skill. The learned skill was a place-based technique. Kivi slightly frowned her eyes, showing a hint of regret. A 1-star result was too ordinary compared to her expectations for Ninfong. Meanwhile, their classmates burst into mocking laughter, thought he was some kind of heaven-defying fate changer, but the result is only 1 star. Hurry up and get down, standing there is just embarrassing. Another joined in with a sarcastic tone, trash is just trash. He even thought he could turn into a gold star. But Ninfong still stood motionless, his face expressionless as if the mocking words just passed through his ears like the wind. Seeing Ninfong standing silently, Kivi gently tilted her head and softly asked, What skill did you awaken? But he seemed not to hear his gaze, vague and lost. Only when she asked a second time did Ninfong suddenly snap out of it, his expression briefly confused. Seeing this, Kai Vai couldn't help but feel pity, thinking to herself that he must have been deeply hurt by the overly ordinary awakening result which explained his long silence. With a look of encouragement, she handed Ninfong the basic equipment, gently saying, "Once you're ready, head to the next checkpoint." Taking the equipment, Ninfong stepped forward. His mind was still in shock, wondering if he had misheard earlier. But the memory of the moment his hand touched the spirit stone was still crystal clear. A mysterious voice rang in his ear, coldly announcing, "Inspection confirmed the host has fully awakened, meeting the system activation conditions." The system activates successfully when the host gains the passive dark movement ability. Gift includes the mysterious passive dark movement skill. When using the forbidden spell, you will be exempt from all costs of dark power. Your mysterious passive gift forbidden spell skill can be released once a week without any consumption. Ninfong briefly wielded the dark power, the most evil force in this world considered taboo, and the highest level forbidden magic, something he had never dared to dream of. What is this system? Why is it related to me? Not stopping. The voice continued to check that the place-based technique is starting to transform. Transformation complete. The place-based technique darkens into the forbidden spell of the corrupted earth body. Ninfong felt a chill run down his spine. Although worried, he told himself it should be fine and that he should stay calm for the upcoming combat test. After inspection, the candidates were divided into groups of 50 to participate in combat practice inside the secret realm, getting familiar with their newly awakened skills. Everyone had to fight monsters on their own, no teaming up or attacking each other allowed. Drones monitored the entire process. Before starting, Kai Vai smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry, others won't be able to see your skills." As for Ninfong, his skill was recorded as the active corrupted earth body forbidden spell, summoning dark power from another world to form a shield that protects and crushes any enemy who dares approach. Entering the secret realm while everyone charged into battle full of energy, Ninfong was lost in tangled thoughts about the dark forbidden spell, his heart heavy with anxiety, thinking this power was too dangerous. If it was evil magic and discovered, he'd be doomed. He gritted his teeth and silently cursed the damn system to explain clearly to him, but only terrifying silence followed, no response. With no other choice, Ninfong hurried into the secret realm, filled with apprehension and completely clueless about his dark forbidden spell. Inside the secret realm, the atmosphere boiled as candidates fought fierce monsters. Every strike rang loudly. Monster roars mingled with the candidates' fierce shouts. As for Ninfong, he quietly hid behind a dense bush, cautiously observing his surroundings. Surveillance drones patrolling above made him afraid to recklessly use his forbidden spell. With no other way to attack, he muttered that it was best to hide and wait for an opportunity. On the monitoring screen, Captain Chu frowned when he noticed Ninfong just sitting still while the other candidates fought enthusiastically. He turned to Kai Vai skeptically. "Why is Ninfong just sitting there?" Kai Vai sighed softly, a hint of pity in her eyes as she defended him. "That kid awakened a bit late isn't very healthy, and his activated skill is a defensive magic not suited for solo combat." Hearing this, Captain Chu snorted lightly, his expression displeased. "If he's just a first-level profession, he's not qualified to be an adventurer. Don't call him out unnecessarily." But at that moment, an unexpected incident occurred. A strange power burst forth in the secret realm, causing a surveillance drone to be attacked and fall. The surveillance screen flickered. The signal was interrupted, and the measurement system suddenly issued a warning detecting power fluctuations far beyond the average values in the secret realm. Before anyone could recover, more drones were shot down. From the darkness, a giant monster appeared, its overwhelming aura making the contestants tremble in fear. A nearby guy seemed to go limp, collapsing to the ground, unable to stand. This terrifying beast clearly was the leader of the monsters in the secret realm. It roared in a deep, hoarse voice, commanding the surrounding beasts. "Rise up, no longer be slaves, resolve to bury all these intruders here." In a flash, it smashed the surveillance drone, causing it to fall right in front of Ningfeng. The decisive strike left him momentarily confused, holding his head unsure how to respond. Suddenly, a flash of light sparked in his eyes as if a bold idea had just formed. By now, the beasts had surrounded him tightly, their ferocity fierce. If he didn't act immediately, He feared he would be torn apart by their claws. The leader beast's eyes flashed with a fierce glow, curling its lips with a sneer. "There's still a little worm hiding here." At the leader's command, two savage beasts lunged at Ningfeng claws, slicing through the air. He slightly curled his lips, thinking, without the surveillance drones, this is the perfect chance to test if that forbidden technique is truly powerful. Ningfeng muttered, his gaze cold. He raised his hand and softly chanted a terrifying aura, bursting forth and instantly transforming into a pitch-black bone veil. The surrounding beasts screamed miserably, their bodies gradually withering until they collapsed into white bones on the ground. On the surveillance team's side, panic spread as all connections to the drones in the secret realm suddenly cut off. A terrifying dark power explosion made them suspect that a king-level monster had appeared. Captain Chu's face turned serious as he immediately ordered reinforcements and the evacuation of all non-combat personnel. He gritted his teeth and muttered, "Strange, why is there such a terrifying existence in the exam?" In the secret realm, Ningfeng stood amidst a pile of dry bones, his cold eyes scanning the leader beast, which now trembled, unable to believe the scene before it. It roared in a confused voice. "Impossible!" Ningfeng smiled slightly silently, acknowledging he had mastered using the forbidden technique, feeling this power was truly incredible. Just then, the system in his head rang repeatedly. "Host eliminated goblin mobs, experience points, plus 10 strength increased." As he unleashed the forbidden technique, Ningfeng stunned the leader beast, whose eyes flashed with astonishment. The dark power bursting from a human like him made it curious, wondering how he could wield such terrifying strength. But before it could think further, Ningfeng darted forward, eyes cold, delivering a fatal blow. In an instant, the leader beast roared in pain and fell, turning to dust. The system immediately announced, "Host eliminated elite monster experience points plus 6,000. After the intense battle, Ningfeng felt his body filled with new power. He checked his status, level 10 mage stamina, 10 strength, 8 agility, 8 spirit, 20 endurance, 12. He slightly smiled, surprised to have jumped to level 10 after just one real battle. In previous years, other contestants at most only increased by 1 or 2 levels because the experience from minor monsters was so minimal. But the elite monster just now helped him break through, Ningfeng muttered. Frowning, why are there elite monsters in the exam? In front of him, the loot from the monster piled up, sparkling with light. He picked up 2 rare orange equipment items, eyes shining brightly. The Vanguard badge permanently increases agility, and the Shadow Claws requires level 20 plus 13 strength, 16 agility, 10% attack speed, 5% critical rate, 10% chance to trigger continuous attacks. Ningfeng stroked his chin, thinking, I can't use the Shadow Claws. But this orange item will definitely sell for a good amount. If this continues, leveling up will be as easy as pie. Suddenly, the surveillance speaker blared urgently. All contestants must immediately stop the survey, use the teleport scrolls, and retreat. Ningfeng was stunned, still wondering what was happening when the scene before him suddenly darkened. Deep black holes appeared, spreading a deadly aura, turning the secret realm into a wasteland. He muttered to himself, is this the true power of forbidden magic? His instincts told him to leave immediately. If caught using forbidden magic, the consequences would be unpredictable. Without hesitation, Ningfeng activated the teleportation scroll. His figure flashed and disappeared. By this time, everyone had used their teleportation scrolls to hurriedly leave the secret realm. Ningfeng had just returned to the base and hadn't yet stood steadily when Captain Chu shouted orders. Everyone leave immediately and return to the city at once. The appearance of a king-level monster made Chu look pale and extremely worried. With the current forces, no one was strong enough to confront it. He muttered, I wonder if reinforcements will arrive in time. At that moment, an unexpected message arrived. The source of the dark power suddenly disappeared. The monitoring team deduced that the monster had escaped the secret realm. The situation was now beyond their ability to handle. Kai Vai's face turned serious as she immediately ordered a report to be sent to higher-ups. No loud noises allowed to avoid widespread panic. She lowered her voice and signaled to activate the ceiling formation of the exam area, leaving only one exit for unrelated people to retreat. Seeing Ningfeng appear, Kai Vai quickly stepped forward, her eyes full of worry. Are you okay? Hearing his reply, I'm fine. She breathed a sigh of relief and urged, leave quickly. Then an announcement sounded that the school would suspend all activities. Unless absolutely necessary, do not return or go outside. Ningfeng did not ask further, but seeing Kai Vai's tense expression, he thought to himself that she seemed to be facing a great enemy. Ning Duyet, standing beside him, quietly said, I heard the exam area detected an unknown source of power. The entire school has been sealed off. Ningfeng nodded, guessing that the power source was definitely related to that mysterious elite monster. He sighed softly with regret because just as he awakened his power, the exam was interrupted. Seeing Ningfeng's pensive look, Wang Duyet thought he was discouraged and comforted him. Defensive magic helps keep you alive, but isn't suitable for leveling up. Join our team alone tomorrow. Ningfeng shook his head firmly, refusing. That's unnecessary. I can level up on my own. Deep down, he clearly understood that forbidden dark magic shouldn't be casually displayed in front of others. If exposed, the consequences would be unpredictable. Wang Duyet's eyes narrowed, not giving Ningfeng a chance to object. Do you dare refuse? Be at the West Gate at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Having said that, she turned on her heel and left, ignoring Ningfeng standing there shaking his head in exasperation. He muttered, the more I think about it, the more miserable I feel. He briefly considered faking illness to escape, but knowing Wang Duyet's stubborn nature, Ningfeng knew well that running away today wouldn't help him avoid tomorrow. After some thought, he came up with an idea, though unsure if it would succeed. At the UN City Trading Center, Ningfeng stood before the gate, his eyes scanning the bustling crowd. He knew some equipment with special skills could help disguise forbidden magic. His plan was to buy an item with a Nen skill to deceive Wang Duyet tomorrow, while also selling the loot from the elite monster earlier. If lucky, the system might turn the equipment's skill into forbidden magic. Just as he entered, a young girl hurried out with a warm smile. How can I help you, sir? Ningfeng replied immediately. I want to buy equipment with Nen skills, whether weapons, jewelry, or tools. Hearing this, the girl raised her eyebrows and studied him carefully before smiling. Nen skills are low-level magic. There's no need to buy them. We have many items with high-level magic skills perfect for leveling up. Shall I recommend some for you? Ningfeng shook his head firmly. No need. I just need temporary use, not too high level. The girl's expression immediately changed. Her smile vanished. She frowned, her attitude turning cold as she called someone else over. Who's free to serve this customer? Then she walked away, muttering irritably, what a mess, half a day wasted on a poor nobody. I'm not free to serve. Ningfeng stood there smirking slightly, not minding. A new employee looking nervous stepped forward to greet him. The new employee with the kind face and friendly smile greeted Ningfeng. Just tell me what you need, okay? Following his request, she led him to a weapon shop. After trying on all kinds of armor, swords, and props, Ningfeng finally settled on a sparkling ring that fit his finger perfectly. He smiled and thanked the staff member. Thank you for patiently taking me everywhere like this. By the way, he asked where the loot-selling place was. I want to go there. The staff member nodded and led him to the appraisal and consignment room. An agile-looking old man was waiting in charge of appraising items. Ningfeng took out an orange claw loot from a battle with a monster. The old man picked it up, his eyes lighting up as he immediately recognized it as an orange, agile-type weapon, requiring a low level with excellent attributes perfect for beginners. He pointed to the 3 inlaid slots on the claw and explained they could customize attributes to improve effectiveness and suitability. He nodded approvingly and evaluated the item as good. I'm sure there are customers interested here. He asked what price Ningfeng wanted to sell it for. Ningfeng smiled awkwardly and scratched his head. The higher the better. The old man laughed heartily. Understood. You sit here and wait. I'll contact the customers. Yes, Xiaoyang, please take good care of Mr. Ning, okay? After saying that, he stepped outside. He called someone named General Zhang to inform him that he had a high-quality piece of equipment matching the request. After the call ended, he returned smiling and told Ningfeng the equipment had sold. A buyer offered 50,000 spirit coins. After an 8% transaction fee deduction, you will receive 46,000 spirit coins. Hearing the number 46,000 spirit coins, both Ningfeng and the staff member Xiaoyang were stunned, not expecting the claw to sell for such a high price. He quickly completed the paperwork and the money was immediately transferred into his account. By the way, Ningfeng asked Xiaoyang to take him to see a few more pieces of equipment. She nodded enthusiastically and led him to the display area. Outside, the staff member who had initially welcomed Ningfeng was proudly chatting with colleagues. She boasted that she only liked rich, capable, handsome guys, Poor types like that loser Cha weren't even worthy to carry her shoes. The girls around her laughed loudly, teasing her for being so unrealistic. At that moment, they saw Ning Feng come out with Xiao Yang and the appraiser. A girl whispered, saying she heard that Little Handsome just sold equipment for 50,000 spirit coins and is now buying new gear. 50,000 spirit coins is enough to pay our whole team's salaries for 3 months. The staff member's face turned pale upon hearing this, silently regretting underestimating Ning Feng. If she had treated him kindly at the start, that commission would have been hers. After Ning Feng finished choosing his gear, he saw Xiao Yang out. She smiled and said, "Next time you come, just look for me. I'm Yang." He nodded in thanks and then left. Ning Feng was in a cheerful mood today, whistling as he walked. Last night he tested and found that equipment with attached spells was not affected by the system. It helped him conceal forbidden spells without fear of exposure. While walking, Ning Feng suddenly saw Wang Yue ahead. He opened his mouth to call her name, but before he could speak, a group of people called out to Wang Yue first. The group consisted of 5 people: a mage, a shield warrior, a former mad warrior, and a pink-haired girl who was a Saint-class caster. Wang Yue pulled Ning Feng over and introduced them as members of her guild. But 2 men in the group, a mage and the former mad warrior, looked at him coldly with no friendliness at all. Although Ning Feng politely greeted them, they acted as if he owed them 80 million spirit coins and didn't even bother to respond. The mage turned to Wang Yue with a smile. "I remember you're about to get promoted, right?" Ning Feng was stunned and silently praised Wang Yue as impressive. "You can only get promoted every 3 levels, so she's about to reach level 60. Not bad for a 5-star prodigy girl." The mage smugly took out a small vial and handed it to Wang Yue. "I want to give you this gift." It was an orange-quality consumable potion of supreme level, permanently increasing 3 points of agility. The Saint-class girl and the former mad warrior stared in amazement at the rarity of the item. The mage bragged arrogantly. "Being rare is nothing. It's only worth 20,000 to 30,000 spirit coins. Yue and I don't care about that. The important thing is that this supreme potion is hard to buy, even with money. My father had to ask many friends to get just 1 bottle. Hearing this, Wang Yue shook her head and firmly declined the kind offer. "Then I'll accept it, but I won't take the potion bottle." The sorcerer frowned and insisted, "This chi elixir is very valuable. Didn't you vow to get into a top university?" But Wang Duet remained firm, saying that she and Ning Feng still had business to attend to. Previously frustrated, the sorcerer pointed directly at Ning Feng and snapped, "Wait a minute, do you really want to waste your time with this useless guy?" Wang Duet called out sternly, "Zhao Cheng, pay attention to what you're saying." He sneered and continued, "A top-tier cultivator is nothing but a worthless loser who'll never achieve anything." Ning Feng stood there a bit bitter, wondering why this guy was targeting him. Who does he think he is? Is he crazy? Maybe we should just use forbidden magic to wipe him out. The holy priestess quickly spoke up to advise, "Zhao Cheng, stop talking and let's just go." But he ignored her, shouting loudly, "None of your business, stay out of it." Then he turned to Ning Feng, pointing disdainfully, "This brat can't even afford a single bottle of chi elixir. Get lost and don't embarrass us." Ning Feng snapped back coldly, "Are you a crazy dog barking nonsense? A single bottle of triple elixir and you're acting all tough." This made Zhao Cheng furious, eyes red, grinding his teeth as he cursed, "You poor demon, how dare you talk to me like that? Do you want to die?" Just then, a shield warrior stepped in with a provocative tone. "Such big talk. Do you have anything better? Show us, let us see. If you do, I'll kneel and kowtow to you. If not, you kneel and kowtow to me." Zhao Sheng nodded and sneered, "Sounds right." Without hesitation, Ning Feng immediately pulled out the Shanfeng badge, swinging it in front of him, smirking as he prepared to kneel. He turned to Wang Duet and handed it to her. "Here, this is a gift for you." Wang Duet's eyes widened in surprise as she looked at the shimmering badge, instantly recognizing it as an orange, permanent attribute-boosting item. She asked in amazement, "What is this? I've never seen anything like it before." The whole group, including Zhao Cheng, was stunned, their jaws dropping. They whispered, doubting if it was some permanent attribute item scam. Ning Feng chuckled softly. "Whether it's a scam or not, try it and see." He handed the badge to Wang Duet calmly. "Don't worry. This is something I found at home. I originally planned to give it to you." Wang Duet received the badge and tried it immediately. A flash of light appeared, and her attributes surged, proving the item was genuine. The group was stunned, but Zhao Cheng was the most worried, eyes wide in disbelief. "How could you have such a treasure? You must have stolen it." But once the words were spoken, denying it was useless. Ningfeng smirked coldly and said, "Kowtow louder, I'm a bit hard of hearing. 2 million spirit coins." Zhao Sheng turned purple with anger, growling, refusing to kneel. Wang Duet frowned and said, "Zhao Cheng, do you want to go back on your word?" Seeing his attitude, his teammates avoided eye contact as if denying any acquaintance no way to deny any more. Zhao Cheng gritted his teeth in shame and knelt kowtowing before Ningfeng. Ningfeng didn't even glance at him and pulled Wang Duet away, saying, "See you again." Outside, Wang Duet felt uneasy and apologized to Ningfeng, but he quickly interrupted, "Our relationship doesn't need this. Actually, you don't need me. I just hope you pass your exams and get into a top university." He smiled slightly and added, "But if you're by my side, it'll be harder to level up." Hearing that, Wang Duet worriedly said, "Don't underestimate yourself." She took out a skill book and handed it to him. "Wait until you reach the right level to learn it, Ningfeng." Looking it over, she saw the book was purple quality and asked in surprise, "This isn't cheap, right?" Wang Duet smiled lightly. "It's nothing compared to the badge you gave me." He nodded happily and accepted it. At the tomb's secret realm, the scene was desolate. Ugly beasts rose from the graves, but to Wang Duet they were nothing. With a single sword strike, she easily defeated the entire group. Her eyes' sharp aura overwhelming. While Wang Duet enthusiastically slaughtered beasts, Ningfeng sat leisurely in a corner counting them. So far, she had killed 666, but his calm appearance was just a facade. He silently lamented, "The experience points here are too low. I'm already level 10. What should I do? I'm helpless." He dared not tell Wang Duet and just sighed quietly. Suddenly, Wang Duet's phone rang. The holy priestess called urgently, "I just received news that the big boss, the Damnation Demon King, is about to appear. A rare opportunity. You have zero chance to interfere, Wang Duet. If you don't come, how can we defeat the corrupt magic demon? It might drop a rare mage item extremely important to me." Wang Duet pondered silently, glancing at Ningfeng. "Seeing you bow your head tiredly, I say you should go. It's okay. After all, I'm just training inside the secret realm a bit. It won't affect anything." Wang Duet hesitated briefly, her eyes showing reluctance, but finally nodded. "You go back to the safe zone and wait for me to return." After speaking, she dashed off like the wind. Ningfeng watched her leave, smirking and mumbling, "Big shot, take your time and drop by if you're free." But inside, he quietly rejoiced just as he wished to stay alone. He told himself the big boss appeared just in time. "Luckily, last night I prepared and learned 2 skills. Anyway, they're free to use once. The more forbidden spells, the better." But he frowned slightly in regret because level 10 only unlocks 3 skill slots. And the skill books Wang Duet gave him require level 15 to use. In the dangerous tomb realm, monsters grew increasingly dense, each one ferocious, radiating a deadly aura. News of the big boss, corrupt magic demon, spread fast, attracting countless combat groups rushing in. All eyes turned to the tall tower where the big boss was about to appear. Deep inside the dangerous tomb realm, Wang Duet's group planned, determined to clear a path from this point to that point. They whispered to each other to be careful. This dungeon's difficulty is extremely high and the monsters are extremely dangerous. As they prepared, suddenly loud sounds of fighting erupted like thunderclaps. Looking closely, a squad of adventurers had charged ahead of the group. They immediately recognized it as the guild team of Wang Duet and Zhao Chengxin, top specialists of the kingdom. Their strength was powerful, their reputation well-deserved. Other teams sighed, probably no chance left. Sure enough, Wang Duet's group was like a whirlwind. Monsters were eliminated wherever they appeared. Each member showed incredible power. Zhao Cheng laughed triumphantly. "What chance do those trash teams have against us? This big boss is definitely ours." He watched Wang Duet fight, his eyes flashing. The holy cleric nodded. "Wang Duet is much stronger than before." The old warrior laughed. "Her agility has definitely increased by 10 points. Meanwhile, deep inside the secret realm, Ningfeng quietly advanced, using the forbidden spell Void Path. Walk a dark, active skill that tears space, he passed through the shadow world straight to the target's altar, maintaining it for an hour without any effort. Facing him was the big boss, corrupt magic demon, the target of every team. Ningfeng waved and smiled warmly. "You're late." In response, Wu Yu roared and unleashed a terrifying strike straight at him. When the dust cleared, Ningfeng was nowhere to be seen, as if he had been burned to ashes without a single bone left. The big boss smirked with satisfaction. Adventurers don't know their limits, daring to appear here alone. But the big boss didn't realize Ningfeng was still alive, silently appearing behind him. Answering the earlier question, Ningfeng smirked. because I don't want to share the loot with others. With that, he launched an attack without hesitation, giving Wu Yeo no chance to counter. The active skill Heavenly Fire Shower, a forbidden dark spell, was activated. The firestorm raged like meteors raining down, causing terrifying area damage. The big boss took the full brunt of the fire shower, howled in pain before exploding and vanishing on the spot. The system immediately announced host eliminated corrupt magic demon plus 5,000 experience points. Ningfeng officially reached level 30, qualifying for first rebirth. Loot from Wu Yu piled up before him, unexpectedly abundant. Jewelry, gems, the things he needed. Unfortunately, 2 skill books weren't for mages, but still quite valuable. Especially 3 orange items caught his eye. First was the Dark Soul Stone, adding 20% magic damage and 20% life absorption. Second was Corrupt Magic's Remedy, requiring level 30, 15 stamina, plus thus 20 spirit, 100 mind resistance, plus 100 curse resistance, toxin immunity, and could be socketed. The last 3 were Corrupt Magic Runes, consumable items that permanently cost 3 stamina and add 1 permanent quintessence spirit. Ningfeng didn't hesitate to absorb the Corrupt Magic Runes right then and there. Even though it cost 3 stamina, he could still handle it. Morale surged again. The system notified that the host met the requirements to advance in class. Able to activate the Hidden Profession Soul Dance Master or trigger the Faith Decision quest of the entire Magic God Hidden Profession. He was stunned to know the Hidden Profession was extremely rare and only activated through innate talent. Humans are hard to intervene with. Ningfeng silently guessed these glyphs were the key to unlocking that opportunity. Ningfeng told himself that a man must be decisive. He activated the entire Magic God system and quickly left the secret realm. The recent battle left a terrifying aftershock that spread to Uong Duit's group. The whole team was confused and wondered what had just happened. The magical fluctuations were terrifying. Uong Duit immediately ordered a retreat and to halt the advance. Trio Trin said, resentfully gritting his teeth. I still want to go in and fight the boss. She coldly replied, the situation is dangerous. Do you want to endanger the whole team? Hearing that he had no choice but to withdraw, muttering bitterly, why am I so unlucky? Afterwards, Uong Duit intended to text Ningfeng, but upon opening her phone, she saw a message from him. Sorry, something urgent came up going ahead. At this time, Ningfeng had already arrived at the class transfer hall. A young woman greeted him with a smile. You've come to accept the class transfer mission. After hearing him confirm, she began entering information, knowing he was 18, the latest to transfer. She thought to herself that his aptitude was a bit lacking. After finishing, she led him into a room and said to just follow the procedure. I'll go out first. As she stepped out, she met Captain Chu. He hurriedly said, I just returned from the dangerous graveyard. The scene was heavily damaged, but the threat level had reached King Tier or above in just 2 short days. The secret realm had been shaken by 2 serious threats. The receptionist suggested requesting Lo Sa to dispatch forces. On Ningfeng's side, he stood before the mission board, carefully reading the Soul Dance Master Class Transfer Mission. Enter the secret realm. Void Ghost Tomb. Retrieve the Blood Soul Crown. 3-day deadline. 5-star difficulty grade. A. The entire Magic God System mission required entering the secret realm. Sun God Temple, retrieving the Divine Glyph, 3-day deadline, 5-star difficulty grade S. Ningfeng frowned, surprised there were 2 branch choices. Seeing the entire Magic God System mission was the prerequisite, he decisively chose this branch. After confirming the mission, Ningfeng left the hall, muttering, no wonder Hidden Professions have S-grade missions. Luckily, there are 3 days, so no need to be overly stressed. Outside, he intended to thank the receptionist, but was surprised to see a different woman attending him. Where did that senior sister go? He wondered silently. In the dangerous graveyard secret realm, the earlier receptionist appeared and began investigating. Her mysterious aura impressed the teammate. First time I see someone from Lo Sa. Even their attire is different. Captain Chu quickly whispered, keep it down, Lo Sa is a secret organization. Members all possess hidden professions using dark powers specializing in special missions. The girl frowned, showing discomfort. The dark power here is too strong, and even after many suppressions, it still affects me. After a while investigating, she shook her head, finding no clues about the culprit causing the damage, then disappeared with unclear intent. She pondered, recently Lo Sa received many reports of abnormal signs in secret realms, possibly a warning of a major crisis. Could they be related? Captain Chu remained silent. his eyes full of worry at the question. The Losa girl shook her head in a low voice. I can't say for sure now. I can only report to superiors and suggest increasing the investigation. Chu frowned, asking again, even the famous Losa finds this troubling. The teammate next to him hesitated, lowering his voice. Did she confirm if the culprit is a monster? I mean, could it be a mutant like us? Sorry, I'm just asking. The girl glanced at him coldly. This level far exceeds King tier. To control such massive dark power, the price must be more than human blood and flesh can bear. In other words, an extremely powerful monster is hiding in the city, capable of causing disaster any time. We must find it immediately. At home, Ninfong intently studied 2 skill books Uong Juet gave him. The system notified a new skill detected magical shield, which can merge with the forbidden physical earth technique and activates automatically. Then the system announced the passive skill Dark Earth Guard activated when attacked. 100% of damage is absorbed by Dark Earth body absorption amount equal to damage caused by Dark Earth body. After the physical attack, the corrupted earth recovers. Ninfong was stunned to realize that forbidden magic could merge with low-level magic, opening a new layer of defense. Normal damage no longer affected him. He continued reading the second book. The lava rock technique could merge with the corrupted earth forbidden magic and the celestial harmony spell. The system automatically activated, making Ninfong smirk, thinking he gained another powerful move. The system continued to notify the activation of the passive skill Elemental Mastery Earth, increasing the effectiveness of all earth magic by 20%. Ninfong nodded, checked, and saw he still had 3 skill slots left, so he decided to go to the exchange center to buy some new skill books. As soon as he walked in, the employee from last time immediately recognized Ninfong, regretting underestimating this fat lamb. She quickly ran over with a bright smile. Mr. Nin, today I'll take you around. But Ninfong politely greeted her back with a cold tone. I want to see Dung Hin, not you. She insisted, this person is busy with another customer, let me take you. Ninfong ignored her. I can go myself. The employee gritted her teeth in anger, thinking, is this kid not a man? How dare he refuse me? Could it be that she's no match for Dung Hin despite trying to chase him away? She explained, but her words fell on deaf ears. Just then, Dung Hin hurried over, breathing heavily. Mr. Nin, I finished my work. When I heard you arrived, I came right away. Ninfong smiled apologetically. Sorry to bother you during your break. Let me make it up with a meal. The other employee watched, steaming with anger, unwilling to lose to Dung Hin. Then Dung Hin took Ninfong to the appraisal room. He said, I want to sell these 2 skill books and buy a few more mage skills. The appraiser nodded. Little Dung, take Mr. Nin to have a look. He pondered quietly, thinking about Ninfong, who previously brought orange weapons and now purple skill books. The boy's background intrigued him, so he planned to investigate further. After finishing, Ninfong invited Dung Hin to eat to thank her. Unexpectedly, she had already paid. Surprised, he asked. She smiled softly. I have my reasons for inviting you and insist you don't pay. Ninfong didn't know her reason, but smiled back, feeling secretly grateful. Curious, Ninfong asked, what's the reason you invited me? Dung Hin smiled mysteriously. It's a secret, let's go. Outside, he offered to take her home, but she shook her head. I have other places to go. I can take a taxi myself. Seeing her determined, Ninfong didn't insist, only reminding her to be safe. In the taxi, Dung Hin told the driver to go to hospital number 2. She silently thought with gratitude that thanks to Ninfong, she earned a good commission enough to pay her father's hospital bills. Lost in thought, the car suddenly shook violently, struck by a strong force. The driver collapsed and died instantly. The culprit was a huge, ferocious monster that not only crushed her car, but also several others nearby. The crowd panicked and scattered. Dung Hin hurried to open the door and rush out, but stumbled after a few steps. Looking at the monster in front of her, she was horrified. There were monsters beyond the safe zone, too. Suddenly, a magic circle appeared in the air. A man stepped out smirking as he watched the chaotic scene. Facing the monster, Dung Hin gritted her teeth and activated her magic. She was a first-rank mage at level 34. She launched an attack but barely scratched it. The monster roared and charged with a strike powerful enough to crush her. Just then, Captain Chu appeared, swinging his sword and decapitating the monster. He shouted, Dung Hin, if you can still move, find a place to hide immediately. Looking around at the ruined scene, the strange aura shook in sync with reality. Chu muttered, I've never seen such a serious situation. These monsters were terrifyingly powerful, not something a first-rank mage like Dung Hin could handle. Captain Chu recalled a colleague's warning about a powerful monster hiding nearby capable of causing disaster at any time. At that moment, a sudden strike came from behind. Chu quickly dodged, but when he saw the attacker clearly, he was stunned. A mutant, half-human, half-monster, grotesque in appearance. Chu shouted, "Mutant, you growling jerk, I'm not trash. I am Xuan Kojia, the one who holds the power of darkness." Chu frowned, wondering, who is this Xuan Kojia? I've never heard of him. Without hesitation, he swung his sword, but the blade didn't faze the mutant. Xuan Kojia easily countered with a single punch, nullifying the previous move. Chu was increasingly worried, silently guessing that his power was at least equivalent to a second stage, maybe even third stage. The mutant sneered, activating a forbidden spell, his voice arrogant. "This is my turf, a weakling like you stands no chance." Without finishing his sentence, the mutant's deformed arm punched straight at Chu with such force that he couldn't block it in time. Red blood splattered everywhere. Chu fell life hanging in the balance. Xuan Kojia laughed loudly, triumphant. "I am truly stronger now as I set foot on this land. I can feel the power rising." Suddenly a cold voice echoed from the necklace the mutant wore. "Pathetic humans, don't flatter yourselves." Xuan Kojia trembled quickly, bowing his head apologetically, fear showing in his eyes. The voice from the necklace continued to warn Xuan Kojia coldly, "Your power comes from me. Without me, you're just trash like the others. Prove your worth." The entity inside the necklace was the king-level monster everyone was hunting. It ordered to slaughter all humans in the city as a sacrifice for itself. At that moment, Ning Feng had just stepped out from the restroom opposite, facing the devastated scene in front of him. A beast had just massacred innocent people and immediately spotted him. It roared and charged like a whirlwind. Ning Feng stood still without a trace of panic. From beneath his feet, the ground cracked and a sharp sword surfaced, piercing through the beast. In that instant, it was a newly purchased spell, Earth Second Rank, Nam Beach. Ning Feng silently thanked the large sum he had spent today. This weapon not only came with a purple skill, but was also enhanced by mastery of the earth element. After dealing with the beast, he moved toward Xuan Kojia, who was still madly slaughtering. Seeing Ning Feng unharmed, Xuan Kojia smirked and stepped forward, murderous. "A worm like you wants to escape too!" He raised his deformed arm to squeeze him to death. Ning Feng looked at the scene and muttered, "What the hell is this?" In a flash, he was grabbed tightly by the giant hand of Xuan Kojia, but felt no harm. The forbidden spell had been activated easily, blocking his attack. Xuan Kojia began to panic, not expecting Ning Feng to block his strike so easily. From the necklace, the king-level beast roared shakily. "This dark power is too strong. Its power far surpasses mine. The aura alone is much more terrifying." At that moment, Ning Feng activated a forbidden spell that shattered Xuan Kojia's curse and tore off his deformed arm. In a critical situation, Xuan Kojia shouted for help from the leader, but the voice from the necklace replied coldly, "The person you called no longer responds. Take care of the small beasts around yourself." Hastily fleeing because the secret realm gate was about to close, only Xuan Kojia remained facing Ning Feng. His arm was disabled, his mutant power dissipated. His mutant power originally came from the shadow system profession, far superior to others of the same rank. Without that power, he was nothing but a cripple. Ning Feng showed no mercy, swinging his sword repeatedly to defeat him on the spot. Wiping sweat, Ning Feng breathed a sigh of relief, silently thinking he was lucky to attack first without needing defense. He quickly collected the dropped loot, slipped away quietly to headquarters while no one was watching. There, the Lusa team received news that the monsters had retreated and the invasion phenomenon of the secret realm had disappeared. The three senior sisters from Lusha grew more curious about who was behind it all. Both times involved destructive secret realm spells penetrating then suddenly vanishing. Other areas were safe, except for the southern city where team leader Chu was responsible. Heavy losses with the situation unclear. The senior sisters decided to check the southern city. At the scene, Du and another member was examining Xuan Kojia's body, his eyes full of suspicion. After a careful observation, he sighed, realizing that all the mutant's items had been completely taken. At that moment, a strong female warrior from the monitoring center appeared, her gaze sharp as she demanded, "Who are you?" "Don't move and answer immediately." Duan calmly raised his badge, his voice steady. "Don't worry. I'm a member of Van Nuai Huyen." Khan, an unofficial organization formed by martial artists themselves. We usually act in secret, but today we had to reveal ourselves because of that mutant. He continued in a low voice. This mutant used to be part of the organization, but betrayed us by colluding with the secret realm to infiltrate reality-leading monsters to attack our camp. Except for a few survivors, all our teammates were sacrificed. Hearing this, the senior sister furrowed her brow, speculating that perhaps the secret realm invasion stopped because he was dead. Du-an nodded, but his eyes showed doubt as he asked if the one who killed him was from her organization. The strong woman shook her head firmly, saying no. We don't know who did it either. Du-an frowned and muttered that this mutant was extremely cunning, always hiding in the secret realm. Several times before, even when they found him, he managed to escape. Unexpectedly, this time there was someone powerful enough to eliminate him. Immediately, both were stunned, never expecting such a formidable figure to be hidden within Tandu City. Du-an hurriedly left, saying he needed to find something at Ning Feng's house. At that moment, Ning Feng was brimming with excitement, his eyes shining brightly as he examined the spoils from the mutant. Among them were 2 dazzling orange-grade pieces of equipment for fighters, a Vinhui Quanghua armor set, requiring level 120, and a pair of pants armor of the same level. He muttered excitedly, "This is even better than fighting a boss." Thinking back, he realized the mutant never wore these items, surely because his level wasn't high enough. Otherwise, he probably would have had to use forbidden spells just to defeat him. Ningfeng picked up a strange necklace emitting a faint light. He inspected it closely and realized it showed no quality or information. He muttered, "Alone, there probably isn't any ancient artifact hidden inside." He ignored it, unaware that a pair of eerie eyes was lurking inside the necklace. Watching him intently, the beast hidden within sighed in relief, thinking it reacted quickly enough to close the secret realm's gate to avoid exposure. Hearing Ningfeng's muttering, the beast panicked and quickly ordered its comrades to cut off all communications, absolutely not revealing their location at the city hospital. Captain Chu, his body wrapped in bandages, whispered, "A young fighter saved us." As soon as the enemy saw him, it immediately opened the secret realm's crack and fled. The elder sister pondered her sharp eyes. "I also sensed this person's strength is no ordinary." She frowned and continued. "Such a strong enemy couldn't be caught, but there's a mysterious boss who eliminated him. It's unbelievable, but the only conclusion is that guy passed by or is hiding somewhere. He definitely isn't on the registered list." Except for some ordinary magical traces on last night's battlefield, there were no significant clues. Captain Chu sighed. "If the boss was here with us, that would be great. Just thinking about it already feels safe." Hearing this, someone nearby's eyes flashed as he said, "I have a bold idea. There must still be traces of dark power left on last night's battlefield, right?" The elder sister nodded calmly. "Of course. After all, the enemy is a secret realm monster, but I'm just guessing, not certain." The other person excitedly continued, "What if that mysterious boss is a psychic? Didn't the 2 times destructive magic appeared cause no casualties?" Before the staff could finish, Captain Chu interrupted firmly, "What you said is impossible. You're overthinking." Ningfeng had entered the secret realm determined to head toward Hui Duang's sacred hall to complete his promotion mission. He had no idea. Du-an was silently tailing him, stealthily weaving through the secret realm, keeping just enough distance to avoid detection. Du-an's reason for following Ningfeng stemmed from a few days earlier at a busy trading district. That day, Du-an came looking for a level 4 fighter's equipment set. The person who greeted him was the female clerk Ningfeng had rejected before. She was secretly thrilled, her eyes shining when she saw the high-level guest who was both handsome and generous. She secretly thought that if she could stick with this person, she'd never have to worry about the future. The inspector, looking excited, said, "Coincidentally, we have an acquaintance who is about to sell a level 4 fighter's equipment set, but only 2 accessories, armor and pants armor." Du-an immediately showed interest, his voice urgent. "I want to meet that person right away." The inspector hesitated and replied, "He's busy today and can't come." Hearing about the level 4 armor and pants, Du-an paused, suspicion flashing in his eyes. Every detail matched the relic of his master. Although he hadn't seen the set with his own eyes, he was almost certain it was what he had been searching for. He spoke quietly. "Can you tell me more about this acquaintance? I'm willing to pay for the information." Du-an's offer made the inspector briefly worried, thinking how coincidental this was. Ningfeng just said he wanted to sell equipment when this person came to ask him. It felt like it was all arranged beforehand. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he stammered, "I remember he said he needed to go to the border city to handle some matters. Let me call to confirm with him." By then, Do-an had already left the trading center. The old inspector held his head with a tense expression. Seeing that the female employee worriedly asked, "Master Vuong, did something happen?" He sighed and recounted, "I once asked someone to investigate Ningfeng's background. His parents were both ordinary two-star professionals, but they disappeared when he was young. He grew up alone studying at number 7 high school in the city. It wasn't until he was 58 years old that he awakened, and he's still only a 1-star professional." The female employee was shocked and exclaimed, "With such a formidable appearance, he's actually just trash. But how does he have such good gear to sell to us as a 1-star professional?" In response to the female employee, the old inspector sighed. "That's exactly the problem. Although he's a friend of the eldest miss of the Wong Corporation, the corporation hasn't really helped him much." The female employee frowned, recalling Do-an's gloomy expression earlier, silently guessing that Ningfeng's equipment must be stolen. Otherwise, how could this coincidence happen? The old inspector shook his head worriedly. "I'm afraid this matter isn't simple. This time Ningfeng might have provoked someone he shouldn't have." Hearing this, the female employee smiled smugly, imagining Du-an defeating Ningfeng. She thought to herself that this time there's a good show to watch. But back to the present, Du-an quietly followed Ningfeng. His sharp eyes never left him. The more he observed, the harder it was to believe someone as young as Ningfeng could repel the secret realm invasion. Even a powerful expert like his master had once failed against the secret realm's minions. Based on the information, Du-an could only conclude that his master's relic was in Ningfeng's hands. But if Ningfeng isn't a powerful expert, could there be someone else pulling the strings behind the scenes? He told himself to be extremely cautious. At this time, Ningfeng had approached the Huyang Divine Hall, where martial artists were eagerly training in live combat. When he began changing equipment, Du-an held his breath and waited. He wanted to gauge his strength based on his gear. But when Ningfeng put on the familiar equipment, Do-an was stunned, murmuring, "This gear is too ordinary. No different from a student's ungraduated uniform. Could it be a disguise?" Thinking back, he realized that for Ningfeng's age, such starter gear wouldn't attract attention. It was easy to blend into the crowd. To avoid being detected by Ningfeng, Do-an kept a safe distance, thinking that if he deliberately concealed his movements, he might lose his tail. But to avoid alerting the enemy, he couldn't follow too closely. Silently, he activated his spiritual guidance skill to mark the target, placing a sign on Ningfeng without raising suspicion. He observed the beasts around the area. Du-an frowned slightly in surprise because their levels were quite low. He wondered what Ningfeng was doing here. What surprised him most was Ningfeng's absolute defensive skill, a shield that could not be broken, making the surrounding monsters wary and avoiding him. Now Du-an was certain Ningfeng was definitely not ordinary. At this moment, Ningfeng had ventured deep into the secret realm. Standing before a giant statue, he murmured, "Good luckily no one else is here." From afar, Do-an watched and was briefly startled, thinking the statue was the final boss. He thought to himself, could Ningfeng be planning to solo this boss? But why would a powerful expert like him choose such a low-level boss? Strangely, the statue didn't move at all. After observing for the while, Ningfeng didn't act but quietly bypassed it and moved deeper inside. At this point, another monster appeared that was the real final boss, Ningfeng's true target today. But as soon as it saw him, the boss immediately turned and fled, even though Ningfeng hadn't done anything yet. Witnessing this, Du-an vaguely guessed it was a rare hidden boss, but how did Ningfeng know? The system just sent a mission to Ningfeng enter the Huyang Divine Hall. Secret Realm, retrieve the divine mission item, Huiji, and defeat the hidden boss, the 6th Medicine Archangel. After hearing this, Ningfeng laughed heartily. No wonder it's an S-rank mission. If it were just a normal rank 1 mission, who could handle it? At this moment, the hidden boss trembled, mumbling, "This is my secret realm. Where else can I run?" But it didn't have time to flee. Ningfeng unleashed his move, casting the Thunder Demon Black Pillar, a forbidden spell summoning a massive windstorm thunder with overwhelming power like a heavenly calamity descending. But it didn't have time to run. Ningfeng unleashed the Thunder Demon Fallen Dark Seal, summoning the massive windstorm thunder with power like a celestial catastrophe descending. The boss took the full brunt of the lightning storm and vanished in an instant. Duan watched from afar, stunned and staggering. One move from Ninfong not only destroyed the boss, but almost leveled the Hui Duong Divine Palace. He thought in horror that this earth and heaven-destroying magic was the most terrifying thing he had ever seen. Now Duan called Ninfong Elder, guessing that his power must far exceed that of his master. He might even be a legendary 8th-level powerhouse. But Ninfong was still not satisfied because he hadn't completed the first breakthrough. His level couldn't gain experience points, so it was wasted. Even so, he obtained the Divine Hui Badge, a blazing orange emblem symbolizing the sacred +8 permanent spirit points and 100 permanent recovery points. Finished, Ninfong took the teleportation scroll, intending to return and complete the mission. Just then, Duan suddenly appeared and shouted to the elder, "Please wait a moment." The sudden appearance made Ninfong tense, silently wondering where this person came from. Could he have seen everything? Seeing Ninfong's confused expression, Duan also worried the elder might get angry. He quickly forced a friendly smile. "Elder, please don't be angry. Let me explain." Suddenly, an alarm blared loudly, and Ninfong immediately cut him off. "Leave here first. We can talk later." After leaving the secret realm, Ninfong and Duan found a quiet corner to talk. Duan sincerely explained his reason in a deep voice. "I truly apologize. No, I mean no harm. I just wanted to confirm a few things. After all, you look very young. If I hadn't seen it myself, I wouldn't have believed that someone as strong as my master back then, even dying, only temporarily sealed the secret realm. He infiltrated to let that traitor escape. For years, he's been using sacrifices to break the seal. I've been hunting him for a long time, but failed." Hearing this, Ninfong pondered silently, guessing this person was a powerhouse. If he hadn't revealed himself, I couldn't have detected him. My level is still too low. If things keep going this way, I'll be exposed sooner or later. Seeing Ninfong's silent stance, and worried the elder might want to kill him to silence him, but still confidently spoke, "Elder, you helped me avenge my master. Helped me. I'm deeply grateful. If you need anything in the future, just call me." Ninfong quietly assessed Duan, thinking his level was high, but he fought solo. If I build a good relationship, it might be useful. About today's matter, he said, "I don't want anyone else to know." Understanding, Duan nodded. "Rest assured, I promise to keep it secret." He knew well that Ninfong's magic wielded terrifying dark power, but didn't harm the innocent. He even pushed back the secret realm and saved the whole city. In Duan's eyes, Ninfong was strong, humble, and worthy of respect. Whatever the reason, Duan decided for now he had nowhere else to go. For now, he would stay in Tandu City. Suddenly, Ninfong received a call. As soon as he picked up, Koki hurriedly asked, "Where are you? I have a few things to discuss. I'll wait until you're back to talk." Meanwhile, at Koki's place, her elder sister beside her with sharp eyes asked, "Have you talked to Ninfong yet?" Koki answered calmly. "His tone doesn't seem like anything's wrong. He's about to head back now." Elder sister murmured thoughtfully, "A student who just awakened a few days ago suddenly reaches first level. If we don't investigate in time, we might miss him. But Ninfong has a good personality and studies hard. I believe he's not a bad person." Tulam heard this and shook her head slightly. "I'm not saying Ninfong is bad, but there are a few things that need clarification." She recounted that in the monitoring team meeting they reported the situation over the past few days to their superiors, but got no interest. They even asked if there were other matters besides this. Tulam hesitated, then continued. "Some say 2 types of destructive magic appeared in Tandu City. Could it be caused by a mutant?" Hearing the question, a male friend sneered mockingly at Tulam. "You're a mutant yourself. How can you ask that? Mutants who use dark power pay a heavy price. They consume their life force, lose their sanity, and even turn into monsters. Even the lightest price can't be ignored. If careless mutants end up beyond saving. A mutant as strong as the king level is basically impossible." Tulam frowned and replied, "I'm just considering all possible scenarios. Whether you like it or not is up to you." The male friend laughed loudly. "Still here babbling nonsense. Clearly it's because you guys couldn't investigate properly, right? If there really is a false royal-level mutation, I'll bring my head down for you to kick like a ball." The old man standing at the front spoke in a steady, deep voice. "We have sent an investigation team to Tandu City. Hopefully your side will actively cooperate. If needed, the investigation team will take over the entire task. As for the request to send more people from your higher-ups, it has not been approved yet." Upon hearing this, Talam briefly frowned and asked irritably, "Is the reason because they don't trust us?" The old man replied calmly, "It's not that they don't trust you. In short, just be a little more patient." The class had just ended when someone hurriedly came in to report new information to Tulam, the secret realm in Longback City. Temporarily, no casualties. Miss Kai got immediately excited upon hearing the news. When Ningfeng was passing the cultivation site inspection, he had registered exactly there. Tulam nodded slightly. Her eyes flickered as she thought quietly that this would be very interesting. In Longbok City, the entire city has been covered by a huge shield. The people are confused and unsure if the shield is sturdy enough. The incident at He Duong Divine Palace has left them trembling with fear. The guards quickly reassured them not to worry. The shield has been activated at the highest level. It will isolate the dark forces from the outside world, preventing them from spreading to the urban area. It is definitely very safe. Hearing this, Ningfeng sighed inwardly, thinking he had caused such a big disturbance that they activated the highest alert. Now he only had to wait for the alert to be lifted to take the car home. But the situation isn't as safe as the guards said. The beasts have approached the shield, leading a fierce army with blazing momentum. The beasts growled and discussed what this shield was for. It looks like a magical shield, but they are not afraid at all. One sneered, not caring that weak humans only know how to hide in their shells. Too bad this thing can't stop us. Let's give them a surprise, ha-ha. Finished speaking, they brazenly passed through the shield as if it meant nothing. Everyone was shocked to realize something was wrong when they understood the situation. The beasts were standing right in front of them. Chaos instantly broke out. The people panicked and ran in all directions. The guards were dumbfounded, not understanding why the beasts broke through the shield, yet it remained intact. In this critical situation, Do-An gathered his inner energy and used combat techniques to create a solid shield, protecting himself and Ningfeng, temporarily blocking the beasts. He turned to Ningfeng with a serious voice and said this might be a high-level secret realm intrusion, not much different from last night's incident in Tandu City, then asked if he should take action. Ningfeng was a bit surprised and asked Do-An if he really knew how to handle it. The seemingly casual question stunned Do-An. He thought to himself, the elder can easily deal with this, so why ask me for solutions? That's not right. Why would the elder ask me if he could do it himself? What exactly am I thinking? Do-An silently realized the elder was clearly testing him. Decisively, he spoke up, Ningfeng, leave everything here to me. But this action made Ningfeng a bit stunned. Yet he thought there are many people here, it's inconvenient for him to act. Just let him handle it. At this moment, the guards charged forward to confront the beasts. Some shot arrows, others swung swords, trying hard to physically attack, but their blows only left minor scratches. Meanwhile, the guards were severely injured by the beasts. After finishing, the beast approached the civilians and muttered, "What a disappointment, I thought humans had a few strong ones." Just as the beast raised its claws to strike, Do-An suddenly rushed over to block the attack. Though fighting, he silently guessed the elder didn't need his protection, but since he was here, he couldn't let him act alone. I'm confident Do-An turned to Ningfeng and said, "Leave everything here to me." The beast, enraged by the block, roared, so it turns out not all here are trash. Do-An didn't hesitate and counterattacked immediately. A sharp slash from his sword sent the giant beast flying. It began to panic, not expecting Do-An to be strong enough to injure it. Not giving the opponent time to recover, Do-An continued skillfully wielding his sword with both hands, creating a dazzling formation. In the blink of an eye, the beast was completely defeated. Everyone around was amazed and whispered, "What level of powerhouse is this?" The monster basically had no chance to fight back at all. His skills are anything but ordinary. It's very likely a high-level hidden profession. Under Do-An's blade, the beast was officially eliminated at level 137, a secret 5-star hidden warrior profession. Do-An's combat ability is truly astonishing. Witnessing the grand scene, Ningfeng deeply admired Do-An. Didn't expect him to be so formidable. The beast leader has been defeated. The remaining monsters panicked and fled. Taking advantage of the moment, the guards quickly counterattacked and wiped out the remnants. After finishing, Do-An approached Ningfeng respectfully and asked if the elder wanted him to do anything else. Ningfeng laughed heartily and gave a thumbs up. "No need. You did well." Do-An bowed respectfully before Ningfeng. Everyone around couldn't help but wonder just how powerful a young man like Ningfeng really was. Could he be a wealthy heir bringing bodyguards to level up? But Duan immediately handed the loot from the boss to Ningfeng. He said the elder should accept it. In his hand was a radiant orange item, an item that many coveted even if they couldn't use it. Just selling it alone was worth tens of thousands of spirit coins. The nearby girls were dazzled by Ningfeng and joked about wanting to be his clothes hanger. The two orange items included a skill book for the agility system. Ningfeng thought he could give it to Wang Duet and a dark bone shield. He planned to sell them for money and figure things out later. At that moment, the market master Longbo Tai Dong personally came to meet Do-an and Ningfeng. He bowed respectfully, giving thanks to the two powerful experts for saving Longbo City. Looking at them, he noticed they looked somewhat unfamiliar, not like locals. Ningfeng sighed and replied that they had only come for business, but unexpectedly got trapped here temporarily and couldn't leave. His words were simple, but Tai Dong misunderstood. Sweat poured down as he imagined Ningfeng grumbling about why Lao Tzu was here. Don't you all feel any annoyance inside? Making up the scene himself, he hurriedly bowed 90 degrees and apologized profusely. It was all our negligence, please forgive us. Ningfeng panicked and quickly waved his hand. Don't do that. Actually, I caused this myself. Then he dared only to mutter quietly to himself. The market immediately sent someone to bring a valuable flight scroll they had just purchased to compensate the elder. Hearing this, Ningfeng was stunned, dazed like a fool. He knew the flight scroll was an extremely rare item, very hard to get. Even used once, it was very convenient for short and medium trips. Suddenly, the market master spoke respectfully. I have a request to ask of Ningfeng. He hesitated. These past few days, everywhere has been in chaos. I want to invite Ningfeng and Do-an to stay a few more days because the city's defense is weakening. Ningfeng shook his head and refused. I'm not free. If I delay, I'll never complete the first transfer. Hearing this, the market master imagined sweat beading, thinking of Ningfeng's scowling face, yelling, Do you think I have nothing better to do? He quickly wiped his forehead, muttering, I really wasn't thoughtful. He respectfully handed the flight scroll to Ningfeng along with the supreme black card of the Far City Exchange, saying, Consider this a small gift as thanks. Ningfeng was amazed, knowing the supreme black card was only given to a few successful people with many privileges. He thought to himself that this market master's identity was definitely not ordinary, extremely rare. He immediately accepted it and smiled brightly to thank him. Seeing Ningfeng's smile, the market master sighed in relief. Not afraid of offending him and mustering courage, stammered, If Longbo City faces danger in the future, may we call on the elder for help? Ningfeng laughed loudly. No problem as long as I'm free? Hearing Ningfeng's agreement, everyone was overjoyed, clapping heartily. After finishing, Ningfeng and Do-an activated the flight scroll and immediately disappeared from Chengdu City in front of the promotion hall. The three were waiting for Wang Duet. At that moment, she and Zhao Cheng stepped out. Suddenly, two beams of light flashed. Ningfeng and Do-an dashed past on the central hill using the flight scroll. Wang Duet paused, thoughtful eyes sparkling with curiosity. Seeing that Trio Trin asked, What's wrong? Just saw two people flying by. One of them seems to be Ningfeng. Wang Duet glared at him, coldly warning, Are you mistaken? 1,000 star worth of flight reel, how could a dirt poor guy like Ningfeng afford it? Even if he could, why did he wake up and transfer to the main hall? This remark made Wang Yue angry, shouting, If you dare badmouth Ningfeng again, I'll teach you a lesson. Zhao Cheng was frustrated but only dared to curse silently. Why defend that worthless nobody with no future? What part of me isn't as good as him? The tension was thick as a bowstring, and the female Saint class player quickly intervened. Forget that. Have you two received the level 2 promotion task yet? Zhao Cheng proudly replied, I'm grade A, but unfortunately didn't get grade S. Grade A is good enough. Only Ao Huang can pull grade S, reaching level 2 promotion at 18 years old. I already topped the university competition for Supernova. Level A promotion tasks are once-in-a-millennium opportunities. The female Saint class player eagerly asked Wang Yue, So, what grade task did you get? Wang Yue's expression suddenly darkened and she was silent. Everyone guessed she only pulled a grade C task, which explained her sadness. Seeing Wang Yue so downcast, Zhao Cheng was secretly pleased, thinking that even a genius girl praised by everyone can have a day like this. Low-level promotion tasks directly affect attribute and skill unlocks. He confidently patted his chest and said, Wang Yue, don't worry. With effort later, you can catch up. Besides, you have me to help you. But inwardly, he looked down on her, thinking that tasks grade C and below would hold her back. Wang Yue accepted the consolation, glanced at him, and answered, If a grade A like you isn't upset, then a grade S like me must be. Those words struck like lightning. Everyone gaped in disbelief. It turned out Wang Yue was upset not because she got a low-level task, but because her task was unique, unlocking a hidden profession never before discovered. "I, Zhao Cheng, refuse," he shouted loudly. "How can this be? Wasn't our profession predetermined at awakening? I've never heard of a hidden profession spontaneously emerging during promotion." Wang Yu glared at him. "How could you be wrong? I clearly remember during the promotion battle, the system announced that the person promoting possessed the key item, the Tianfeng badge, whose initial profession of agile marksman can upgrade to Tianfeng Shadow. The promotion task would change accordingly. Two options appeared before Wang Yue: confirm promotion or cancel. She was confused, not understanding why the interface appeared this way. On the screen, the Tianfeng badge, a gift Ningfeng gave her, shone brightly. She never expected it to have such a special effect. Recalling Ningfeng's confident smile when handing her the badge, Wang Yue guessed he already knew its function. Filled with gratitude, she didn't hesitate to press the confirm promotion button. The female Saint class player anxiously asked, "Why can you decide this on your own?" Zhaoshen shouted, "What's this Tianfeng Shadow? I've never heard of it. The two promotion systems are messed up. If you pick wrong, your life's ruined." Wang Yu's father coldly replied, "This is my business, no need for you to worry." This left Zhao Cheng speechless, stammering, "I just want what's best for you." But no one paid him any mind. Everyone gathered around, cheering and congratulating Wang Yue. Nice didn't expect a 5-star hidden profession could still be promoted. The female Saint class player sighed wistfully. "I wish I had a childhood friend like Ningfeng." Zhao Cheng angrily vowed to find a similar badge no matter the cost or danger. Meanwhile, Ningfeng was beginning his promotion. In his hand was the Divine Badge, a consumable item that permanently increased his stamina by 5 points and spirit by 5 points. The system announced the Grade S task was 100% complete. Ningfeng laughed joyfully, not only because his attributes surged, but also because he gained a new passive skill. This skill automatically helped him control dark power more precisely, perfectly using forbidden spells. While Ningfeng promoted, Doan stood guard outside, looking every bit the loyal bodyguard. Tukai suddenly appeared, curiosity sparked upon seeing Doan. She recognized him as a fighter she had met before, but didn't understand why he was accompanying Ningfeng and acting as his guard. According to intelligence, Doan is young, but has already reached the strength of the 4th transition ranking among the rare, powerful Longfeng across the country. Staff reported that when entering here, Doan constantly stuck close to Ningfeng, showing extreme respect. Teacher Kai came to Toki and warned, "Your student is not simple at all. The rest depends on you." Ms. Kai nodded in response. "Don't worry, I will confirm it with Ningfeng. I believe he definitely is not our enemy." At that moment, Ningfeng and Doan stepped out laughing and chatting loudly. Ms. Kai called Ningfeng back. "I have something to talk to you about." Understanding the hint, Doan immediately turned away and respectfully said, "Elder, I will wait nearby." The term elder made Ms. Kai stunned and confused. "What do you mean by that?" Ningfeng laughed heartily. "You don't need to pay attention, he's just joking." But Ms. Kai's expression suddenly turned serious. She asked if he had already completed the 1st transition. Ningfeng paused, thinking to himself that even though he didn't want to reveal it, it was found out so early. Yes, Ms. Kai always cares and believes I am trustworthy. Surely she has no intention of harming me. He forced a smile and admitted, "Yes, that's right. Because explaining this is quite complicated, I don't want many people to know." Ms. Kai nodded but still spoke seriously. "There's one more thing that might seem strange, but I want to confirm if you have been corroded by dark power." Ningfeng panicked, fearing his system would be exposed. But he didn't admit immediately, and asked back, "Why do you ask?" He continued, "I also know that recently the world has been experiencing more and more mysterious invasions of reality, causing many people to be affected by dark power and gradually become pseudo-mutants." Speaking of pseudo-mutants, Ningfeng understood clearly that they were subjects under strict government surveillance. He absolutely didn't want to be involved. To reassure him, she confirmed, "You are not a pseudo-mutant." Ms. Key presented a black stone, her tone serious. "I hope you cooperate with this test. Just transfer your power into the crystal. It will show the amount of dark power in your body." Ningfeng's face showed worry, sweat pouring down. He explained, "This is my first time facing such a situation, so I'm a bit anxious. Then he trembled as he touched the crystal and transferred his power into it. Suddenly, the crystal vibrated violently and then exploded, shattering into pieces. Ninfeng was horrified, and Miss Qi was stunned, not understanding what happened. After a moment of daze, Ninfeng spoke. "What is this?" Ms. Kai remained silent, but the stone was a demon crystal given by To Lam, extremely sensitive to dark power. It's usually used by the government to test for pseudo-mutants. The stronger the vibration, the higher the dark power content. But the demon crystal exploding is unprecedented, and To Lam hasn't explained the meaning. Seeing Miss Kai, silent Ninfeng hurriedly said, "I know it's strange to have transitioned right after awakening, but you've known me for a long time. At least you believe I'm human, right?" Reflecting on Ninfeng's situation, Ms. Kai couldn't help but feel sorrowful. Orphaned since childhood, awakened later than peers, yet he still maintains an optimistic and positive spirit, which is not easy at all. She looked at him warmly. "Personally, I trust you, but because of my responsibility, I have to report today's matter to my superiors. Hope you understand." Ninfeng nodded, uneasy about how the government would react. He quietly planned his final option, maybe leave Tandu City. Ms. Kai suddenly took out an item, smiling. "This is a gift for you. Congratulations on completing your first transition." Ninfeng received the gift with gratitude welling up inside. He returned the favor by gifting her a sacred pure belt. Voodoo quality orange grade level 30 requirement, plus 20 spirit, 50% healing effect, 100% stamina, and dark attribute resistance. Thanks to the holy aura, Kuang Hui, the wearer can use healing magic without chanting. Ms. Kai recognized its value at a glance. A rare orange-grade item with life-saving effects that can save countless lives in critical moments. She shook her head. "I dare not accept this." But Ninfeng insisted on handing it over with a smile. "This is the spoils I got from completing the transition mission. Please don't be polite." After that, he said goodbye. "I have a friend waiting for me over there. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first." Saying that, Ninfeng left his steps light but full of determination. Watching Ninfeng's back gradually disappear, Kai's heart swelled with unending gratitude. She never expected that young man to generously give her an orange-grade piece of equipment right in the adventurer's office. At this moment, Kai had brought the crystal shard to To Lam for inspection. Witnessing the magic crystal shatter, she couldn't help but be stunned when she saw To Lam show a look of panic for the first time. If the higher-ups found out, they would definitely see Ninfeng as a threat. At that point, his safety would be seriously endangered. Thinking this, To Lam sighed softly, her voice thoughtful. "Let it go. Let's stop here." Kai still felt confused and furrowed her brow slightly, asking, "What do you mean?" To Lam pressed her lips, eyes showing a trace of worry. "Your student may have already surpassed our current understanding. If he really is a powerhouse, then we should fight to the end, not dig deeper, and risk angering the other side. Regarding reporting this to higher-ups," To Lam shook her head firmly. "It's not necessary. Pause the investigation on Ninfeng and tightly seal all related information." Hearing this, Kai immediately raised her hand in agreement, her eyes brightening. "I think Ninfeng is still young and doesn't have any notable background. Treating him as a shield to protect is the right thing to do." Knowing clearly that Ninfeng doesn't want his secret exposed, she decided not to dig any deeper. Now her mind shifted focus to the fighter Do-An. After all, the recruitment period was approaching. Adding a strong element wouldn't be a bad idea. At Ninfeng's house, Do-An was there observing him with a caring gaze, quietly asking, "Big Boss doesn't seem too happy, but received a message from the teacher saying the higher-ups have canceled the investigation on you." Ninfeng breathed a slight sigh of relief, but still felt heavy anxiety about future promotions. Every time he breaks through a secret realm, he causes such a big stir that the government has started paying attention. If this continues, sooner or later his secret will be exposed. He muttered with a hint of unease. "That's enough then." Beside him, Do-An silently observed, inwardly admiring his steel resolve. No wonder he's the big boss. He thought even his worries were unlike those of ordinary people. Breaking through a secret realm every time he levels up, if Do-An hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't know how to respond. Although he had a solution, he cautiously asked if it would be any easier not to level up through the secret realms prepared by the government. Recently, strange changes have occurred worldwide. Many new secret realms have appeared. Some government officials are reluctant to spend effort and resources handling them, while some secret realms have fallen into the hands of evil forces. Hearing Do-An's suggestion, Ninfong nodded, eyes brightening. Where is the information about these secret realms? Du-an responded enthusiastically. Currently, there are 2. If the big boss needs, I can go collect more. Ninfong slightly smiled and nodded in agreement. Then I'll have to trouble you if we follow Du-an's plan. Ninfong felt everything would go much smoother. Acting in Du-an's name rather than as a student like himself would help him avoid many prying eyes. He planned to go to the trading zone tomorrow to sell the loot and rest a bit. After all, with the enchantment for leveling, he didn't have to worry about being surpassed by others. At the Express Inn, Ninfong closed his eyes, feeling somewhat lighter. Leaving the house, Ninfong and Do-an immediately found a lodging to stay overnight, planning to find a long-term rental place the next morning. As they entered, someone warmly greeted them and introduced himself. I'm Chuang Ki, Market Chief of Tandu City. Thank you for your help last time during the Secret Realm invasion. I want to know a bit. Do you plan to stay in Tandu City? Hearing Do and say yes, Market. Chief Chuang Ki smiled brightly, voice excited. Great for a powerhouse like you, we warmly welcome you. This is a special certificate for adventurers of the city granting very high authority. If you ever need anything, just let us know and we will definitely do our best to fulfill your requests. He saw Du-an carefully examining the black card. Market Chief Chuang Ki couldn't hide his nervousness. He had heard that many other cities had tried to recruit Do-an, but were all refused. Tandu is a small place. Would it be underestimated? But that worry turned out to be unnecessary. Do-an received the card and nodded slightly to thank Thi Trong's kindness. Arriving here, Thi Trong Ki happily shook Do-an's hand and kept smiling, saying, "No need to be so formal, sir." The reason Do-an accepted the card was because of Ninfong. He thought that his future elder might need it, so he kept it just in case. Of course, the Trong Ki had no idea about Ninfong. He was still thinking that having a 4th-stage powerhouse like Do-an stationed in Tandu City would make things safer. Noticing Du-an was looking for a place to stay, the Trong immediately offered enthusiastically, "Let me arrange a place for you right away." It was already midnight. At home, Ninfong had just defeated an opponent in an intense game match. So absorbed in playing, he suddenly realized how late it had gotten. Hurrying to prepare for bed, his phone suddenly rang, the screen lighting up with messages from the class group. The whole group was buzzing with talks about ranks. Some had reached level 26, others hit 27, but no one had surpassed level 31. Some were complaining anxiously because the secret zone inside the city had been sealed. Outside, the city entry and exit were restricted, so ranks were dropping more and more. Scanning through the messages, Ninfong smirked to himself, thinking, they're all just 16 years old and already awakened. To take the exam, you have to reach at least the 1st stage. I can't believe I've already left my peers behind in just a few days. At that moment, someone in the group sarcastically called his name. Some people are still just playing games up to now, Ninfong. Do you dare to speak up? Though called out, Fong just glared at the screen, not bothering to respond. He knew very well those people were fans of Wang Duyet. They must have seen his game account status. What I do in the game is none of your business, he muttered disdainfully. Immediately after, Kai suddenly spoke sharply in the group. Mind your own business, no need to trouble yourself over others. Just one sentence from Kai made the sarcastic one quickly retract the messages he had just sent. Seeing that, Ninfong laughed heartily, silently praising Ki as the best. At that moment, a new message appeared with hot news about secret zone invasions causing heavy casualties. The whole city was almost nowhere safe anymore. Some even rumored that last time an unidentified elder defeated a terrifying monster. Upon hearing the rumor, someone in the group laughed arrogantly. If I knew who that was, I'd call him Grandpa. Reading that message, Ninfong frowned, his heart growing heavy. He had heard Kai and Do-an mention the world mutating before, but didn't expect the situation to be this serious. After just a few peaceful days, he really didn't want his life turned upside down. At the Vientiane Trading Center, after battling a monster and sustaining minor injuries, Duong Hin quickly returned to work. Seeing her, a spoiled female employee approached mockingly. Seriously, someone still injured and not healed is already running off to work. Facing her, Duong Hin lowered her head, avoiding eye contact, softly saying, My injury isn't serious, it's no problem. The other sneered, Oh, you say it's fine, but inside you're probably just thinking about climbing the ranks fast, huh? Hearing that, Duong Hin got slightly upset and quickly waved her hand to deny, I'm not, but she dared not say more silently enduring. The other took advantage and continued with harsh words. Unfortunately, your high rank is just a thief who doesn't know life or death and dares to steal from a fourth-stage warrior. Now I'm afraid you've been crushed to pieces. Duong Hin immediately retorted with a trembling voice. You're talking nonsense. Mr. Nin is not that kind of person. The woman sneered with contempt. Haha, Master Vuong already sent people to investigate the cause. That Nin guy is just a useless 18-year-old who just awakened. Even his parents died early. He originally had no ability to get high-level items. Now, a fourth-stage warrior comes knocking, and if he's not a thief, then what is he? As soon as she finished, a shockwave suddenly erupted right in front of her. It almost knocked her down. The one who caused it was none other than the main character she had just mentioned, Nin Fong. Nin Fong smirked, his cold eyes staring at her, his voice low. Your mouth is dangerous. You almost made me lose control. Unexpectedly, Nin Fong appeared right here. The haughty female employee panicked briefly, hurriedly pointed at him and shouted, How dare you use offensive magic in the exchange? Guards, come quickly and catch this guy. Hearing this, Duong Hin was alarmed, quickly pulling Ning Feng's hand voice, anxious. We should run before the guards arrive. The forces at the Yuan Cheng exchange are no joke. Ordinary people definitely can't offend them. If they catch you, it will be a big hassle. At that moment, Mr. Wang led two tall, burly guards and strode forward fiercely. He pointed directly at Ning Feng and shouted, Who gave you the guts to act arrogantly at the Yuan Cheng exchange? Ning Feng was unfazed. His cold gaze responded, We, Master Wang, heard you were investigating. You even labeled me a thief behind my back. Whether I'm a thief or not, you know better than anyone. If you want to question me, you don't have the right. Mr. Wang roared and signaled the two guards to rush forward to grab Ning Feng. But with a casual move, Ning Feng leisurely raised his powerful black card voice full of sarcasm. So, this is how you treat customers at the Yuancheng exchange. The shimmering black card immediately made the two guards freeze as if frozen solid. Mr. Wang and the arrogant female employee gaped in utter shock. Mr. Wang knew well that was the supreme black card of the exchange, but he still doubted that Ning Feng's card was fake. Seeing their stunned expressions, Ning Feng smiled slightly and said, The gift from Mayor Tai carries some weight, huh? Mr. Wang stammered, voice trembling. Ning Feng, where on earth did you get that card? Ning Feng smirked, not bothering to answer directly. Aren't you the one investigating me? Then investigate it yourself. At that, Mr. Wang signaled everyone to keep an eye on Ning Feng while he hurriedly turned away, muttering, I'll make a call to check. The person he called was none other than Mayor Tai. Hearing Mayor Tai's cold voice demanding an explanation from the headquarters staff, Tell me, why are you investigating the matter of me giving a card to Mr. Ning? Mr. Wang felt cold sweat dripping down his neck. Mayor Tai's father was one of the founders of the immensely powerful exchange. He wondered how that kid Ning Feng managed to flatter such a big figure. Hastily trying to clarify, he stammered, Mayor, it's nothing, just a small misunderstanding. Mayor Tai immediately growled thunderously, a small misunderstanding. How much effort did I have to put in to compete for Mr. Ning? You won't offend him, right? Mr. Wang panicked, but tried to stay calm. Ha, no, you can rest assured I will handle this properly. But Mayor Tai was furious, slamming the table loudly. Have you really offended him? Who gave you the guts, you scoundrel? Just wait, I'm coming. At this point, Mr. Wang knew he had stirred up a hornet's nest. His mind tangled, unable to understand what relationship Mayor Tai and Ning Feng had to make him so angry. Just then, he suddenly remembered Do and the last lifeline and quickly called her urgently. Have you found the combat suit yet? He thought if Do-an appeared to confront them, even Mayor Tai would have to show some respect. Meanwhile, in the exchange waiting area, Ning Feng and Duong Hin were resting. Duong Hin suddenly saw Mayor Tai and Do-an rushing over hastily. Seeing the two, Ning Feng was surprised and asked, Why are you both here? Duong Hin was stunned, not expecting Ning Feng to know both Mayor Tai and Do-an. At that moment, both suddenly glared at the haughty female employee. Their cold eyes made her hair stand on end, confused. She wondered, why are they all looking at me like that? Glancing at Mr. Wang, who looked even worse, like a wrecked soul, mumbling, I'm doomed, Mayor Tai. Now, fully understanding the situation, he stepped before Ning Feng, respectfully addressing him as boss. Sir, you really don't want them to apologize. Ningfeng slightly curled his lips, voice calm. No need. I don't think those two are the type to apologize and then regret it. Hearing this, Mayor Tai immediately turned cold as ice and ordered Mr. Wang and the female employee to pack up and leave immediately. This result left the two stunned, unable to believe it. In a panic, Mr. Wang turned and slapped the female employee hard in the face, roaring, "Replace the idiot!" Witnessing this, Mayor Tai grew more disgusted and immediately ordered the guards to drag the two out at once. After finishing, he invited Ningfeng and Doan into the VIP room to continue their conversation. Observing Ningfeng's gaze at Donghin, Mayor Tai quietly breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that his impression of her was still good. Luckily, the goodwill from the trading department hasn't been completely destroyed. Thinking so, he turned to Donghin, his tone serious yet encouraging. Work hard from now on, and the trading department will definitely not betray you. The direct advice from Mayor Tai made Donghin blush and quickly reply, I will try my best. At this moment, Ningfeng bowed his head slightly, speaking sincerely. I sincerely apologize for causing the mayor to take a trip because of me. Mayor Tai waved his hand and laughed heartily. No, your matter is also my matter. If it weren't for the two of you stepping in last time, Longback City would probably have been in danger already. He paused for a moment, his eyes flashing with curiosity. It seems like Nin was just looking at the list of treasures at the trading department. Was there something that caught your interest? Ningfeng nodded, voice excited. Yes, that's right. I really want to buy something. Have you guys ever heard of Trungmak Dok? Hearing that name, both Mayor Thai and Doan were stunned, their eyes blank, clearly never having heard of it. Seeing their expressions, Ningfeng looked a bit confused, scratching his head. It's okay, I saw it online yesterday. I thought it was something new. Actually, the name Trungmak Dok that Ningfeng mentioned comes from a skill book that Koki gave him called Lin Luk Tri Fu. It's a skill used by mages to replenish magical power during combat. Ningfeng was curious about what would happen if it were turned into a forbidden spell. Right after activating the book, he received the passive skill Hop Lu Tri An, which can absorb Trungmak Dok in dark energy and convert it into his own attributes. But this thing called Trungmak Dok is so strange. He's never heard of it, doesn't understand its meaning, and doesn't know where to find it. Today at the trading department, everyone shook their heads in confusion when he asked about it. At this moment, Mayor Thai looked at the clock and sighed softly. I'm in a hurry this time, I have to go now. He reminded Ningfeng and Doan. Next time, you must definitely come to Longback City to visit. I will definitely host you two. After saying that, Mayor Thai waved his hand to activate his flight ring and vanished in an instant. After finishing up at the trading department, Doan slapped Ningfeng on the shoulder and enthusiastically suggested to the elder come to my place for a meal. At Doan's villa, arranged by Mayor Tondu himself, the luxurious space made Ningfeng marvel and gape, asking, Is this the room the kid you found is staying in? Doan laughed heartily and nodded, saying, They say I'm a rare talent from the 4th transfer onwards, and since I agreed to stay in Tondu City, it's hard to come by, so they arranged this place for me. If the elder likes, why not move here? I can find another place. Ningfeng laughed heartily, waving his hand. Not to that extent, I can earn some extra money and buy a place to be your neighbor. Doan shrugged casually. If it's money, I have some too. Ningfeng immediately rejected with a determined look, I don't need to use your money. Ningfeng thought to himself, recently buying equipment has already cost quite a bit of spirit currency, but exchanging it for money to buy a villa isn't a big problem. But then his spirit currency would be depleted, and if he needed it later, it could cause trouble. After all, he's not in a hurry and doesn't need to force himself. Doan's villa even had its own chef, and he had called ahead. They would soon arrive with a lavish feast. Just then, Doan's phone rang. The caller was Mayor Trung, his tone serious. I have something to bother you with. The investigation team sent down by superiors is looking into some accidents in the city, so I want to ask you a few things. Doan didn't reply immediately. His eyes flicked to Ningfeng as he silently considered. He worried the investigation might affect the elder, so he wanted to ask his opinion first. He replied calmly, Sorry, Mayor, I'm not available today. Mayor Trung smiled lightly. No rush. Just contact me whenever you have time in the next 2 days. In the investigation room, the cold-eyed investigator questioned the To Lam team. Have you ever met the mysterious elder? To Lam answered calmly without hesitation. No, I've never met him. The investigator frowned suspiciously. If you haven't met him, then why are there rumors outside that the mysterious elder saved Tandu City? Tolam sighed softly and explained. Mainly because during the Secret Realm invasion, some mutated clones suddenly appeared to help resist the invasion, but were also destroyed. Before she could finish, he interrupted mockingly. Are you joking? The danger level of a Secret Realm intrusion varies. Before a clear investigation, it cannot be relied upon. On the contrary, the other two Secret Realm incidents were all surprise attacks at the Grand Elder Mysterious level. What have you people done? Hearing this, Talam just closed her eyes silently. She really had no more words to say about this matter. Kai Vi, standing beside her, understood quietly that to protect Ningfeng, Tolam had used her authority to edit all news related to him. All the pressure now fell squarely on her shoulders. Just then, Mayor Truong rushed in, voice urgent. I just called Do-an. He said he's busy today and doesn't have time. The investigator's face showed obvious annoyance as he growled, The most troublesome are these uncontrolled freelancers, just a dog without a guild acting like they have a lot to do. Forget it. I will take full charge of the investigation. You all go do something else. At the secret realm of Fierce Evil Tomb, as one investigation team member arrived, the guard recognized him and immediately let him in. The ruined, desolate scene inside the secret realm stunned him. Even though it was his first time inside the terrifying power that could destroy a secret realm to this extent was unimaginable. The remaining dark power was still pure and fierce. He muttered with disdain, No matter how mighty the Grand Elder Mysterious is facing, this existence is like an ant. Then the investigator suddenly threw his head back and laughed loudly like a madman, his shrill voice echoing, This place is truly interesting. Suddenly, a force wrapped around him, slowly revealing a giant beast clearly invading his body. He laughed crazily with wild eyes. No wonder it's a Grand Elder-level threat. A terrifying power surrounded him, making the air thick and heavy. At Doan's mansion, Ning Feng was still absorbed in gaming, his combat strength quietly developing without any show. Suddenly, the system announced coldly, Apocalypse Relic detected. Immediately, Ning Feng sensed a strange aura linked to him. He slightly frowned, thinking, if I focus on sensing this connection, it will become clearer and I can pinpoint its location. Without hesitation, Ning Feng stood up, put on his jacket, and prepared to leave. Seeing this, Do-an looked up curiously and asked, Where are you going, Elder? Ning Feng smirked and replied briefly, Just stepping out for a bit. He turned to ask Do-an to finish the game he was playing before leaving the mansion. Ning Feng followed this positioning from the strange aura which led him to an area near Fierce Evil Tomb. Suddenly, a stronger vibration hit him, causing him to frown. That thing has moved, he muttered as he quickened his steps. At the gate of Fierce Evil Tomb, a frantic announcement rang out. Unknown monster appeared from inside the secret realm. A terrifying beast emerged, making two guards horrified and speechless. But what was scarier was that the monster had part of the investigator's head. He groaned in pain with a hoarse voice, I can't move, someone please save me. The road leading to the secret realm area was blocked and no passage was allowed. Ning Feng had to stop his vehicle and quietly get out to cross on foot. At the same time, Talam's group also arrived at Fierce Evil Tomb. Seeing the giant beast in front of them, all three were stunned and wide-eyed in shock. Kivai stammered, What on earth is going on? In just a moment, this place had become desolate with thick smoke and dust covering everything. Talam, severely wounded, was leaning on Kivi for treatment. She breathed weakly with a grateful voice. Luckily, thanks to the equipment Ningfeng gave. Last time it could reduce the chanting time of the holy song to support as quickly as possible, but the current situation is extremely dangerous. Even the strongest like me can't hold back the monster. It's heading straight for the city. Mayor Truong hurriedly called Do-an for help. Kaivi worried whether he would arrive in time. Although Do-an's strength was no less than Talam's, he was afraid he couldn't face the monster alone. Talam's gaze flicked back. Do-an silently thought that person was everyone's last hope. Suddenly, Ning Feng rushed forward with a surprise attack, slicing off the monster's horn. Observing its interface, he smirked sarcastically. Not bad, this apocalypse relic. Even its head is way too big. He hesitated briefly, considering whether to use another forbidden spell to take it down, but at that moment the monster roared and attacked Ning Feng. A terrifying energy gradually enveloped him. Suddenly, a brilliant shield flashed all over Ning Feng's body, preventing the monster from touching him. The beast panicked, not expecting Ning Feng's power to be so terrifying. At that moment, the system announced it had found an apocalypse relic. "Do you want to absorb it?" Ning Feng frowned and muttered, "Why is it only notifying me now?" Could it be that the requirement to absorb it is to be in close contact? Without hesitation, he reached out and pressed absorb. Immediately, Ning Feng's body erupted with a storm-like power, shattering the monster as originally intended. At the same time, he began to absorb its energy along with fragments of the monster's memories flooding into his mind. After the battle, Ning Feng's entire attributes surged by 100 points, even though he had already reached the third transformation from the 0 level. Cumulative bonuses couldn't compare to this number. But beyond the attributes, Ning Feng sensed a strange aura being drawn into his body. Strange images flashed through his mind like a whirlwind. At that moment, Doan appeared hurriedly and asked Ning Feng what happened here. He pointed to the rubble calmly. "Just now I killed a monster." From the pile of monster corpses, the investigator's figure gradually emerged so mangled he was unrecognizable. Looking at Ning Feng's battlefield, Doan guessed the monster the mayor mentioned was this one. He muttered in surprise, "If the Elder could defeat it, I can understand, but the nearby aura doesn't feel like the Elder used any powerful magic. How could the Elder do that?" Ning Feng just smiled lightly and patted Doan's shoulder teasingly. "You arrived just in time. I'll leave the next task to you." Saying that, he immediately dashed off at an astonishing speed far beyond all agile system jobs. At the Chengdu City prison, the investigator confessed everything. He was the monster. According to him, in a secret realm, he discovered a demon creature capable of controlling dark power, turning it into his own strength. He exploited the investigation to sneak into the secret realm and absorb that power, but didn't expect to lose control of the demon creature. Hearing this, the mayor was overjoyed, jumping and shouting, "Great, there really is a mysterious elder protecting Chengdu City." To Lam and Koki, standing nearby, only smiled slightly their eyes as if already guessing who that elder was. Mayor Truong curiously asked, "Do-an, did you meet the mysterious elder?" Duan nodded and replied, "Actually, I was lucky to meet him once." Hearing that Koki and To Lam could not hide their astonishment, their eyes filled with anticipation. Mayor Truong eagerly urged, "Then could you please introduce a bit about that elder? If the mysterious elder is willing to reside in Chengdu City, we will do everything possible to satisfy his needs." Hearing this, Du-an shook his head slightly with a calm tone. "The elder is modest and rarely shows himself, so you should abandon that idea." In his heart, he breathed a sigh of relief, grateful that he and Ning Feng had prepared a strategy to escalate everything to a non-existent mysterious elder. After all, without evidence, they had no way to verify it. Mayor Truong sighed deeply with regret. "It seems the mysterious elder is that kind of powerful figure, huh? I wonder how many people would risk flattering the elder." Du-an chuckled and added, "The elder has relatives in Chengdu City, so he will definitely pay special attention to this place. You don't need to worry." But in return, the old man also hopes not to be disturbed. Hearing that, Koki's eyes flickered as he thought the mysterious elder must be Ning Feng's senior at his family home. Ning Feng sat in deep thought, gradually realizing the apocalypse relic was the remnants left from the Demon King's traces in the secret realm. The images flashing through his mind were pieces of the Demon King's memories when alive, absorbed along with the energy. He frowned slightly, having no intention of becoming the Demon King, but some things inside were still useful. The secret realm's accumulating dark power will strengthen progressively by stages. If the intrusion of time and space is not stopped, the apocalypse will strike. According to his timeline, the path to cultivate awakening is still lacking. Powerful figures reaching the fourth transformation are extremely rare, and their professions haven't reached optimal form. Reviewing the Demon King's memories, Ning Feng frowned, feeling the information was still too little. If this continues, humanity only has a path to extinction. Although you are strong enough to protect yourself, you can't live alone in a world full of monsters. Fortunately, this time-space is not the only place infiltrated by the deadlock. Some other time-spaces have pushed back the invading forces. As long as you accumulate a few more apocalypse relics that pass down useful experiences, you believe it will create a big impact. But exactly what to pass down, Ning Feng still needs to think more about it. Ning Feng pondered deeply, realizing these experiences far exceed current knowledge. Mishandling them could have unpredictable consequences. Just then his phone rang. Wang Duet was calling. Answering, he laughed loudly. "Ha ha, Miss Wong, what's the matter that you have to care so much about me?" On the other end, Wong Duet, having just completed her S-level mission and successfully promoted to Arrow Wind Shadow Girl, excitedly invited Ning Feng to definitely come eat with her. Invited so warmly by the young lady, Ning Feng dared not refuse and immediately promised he would come. Outside, Wong Duet's teammates were already waiting and even set off fireworks to congratulate her and Zhao Cheng on their 2 promotions. The people around admired them, eyes full of awe. They've already completed 2 promotions. They whispered to celebrate. Zhao Cheng had booked the most luxurious hotel in the city, inviting Wong Duet and the whole team to go, but she tactfully declined. "I have other plans tonight. You all go have fun. I'll cook for everyone tomorrow night." But Zhao Cheng was still unwilling to accept this. His tone a bit sharp, saying it was very hard to complete such a mission and they deserved a little rest. "What urgent matter could you have that can't wait?" Wong Duet smiled lightly and replied, This matter is quite important." After saying that, she hurriedly left, her steps quick and agile. Watching her figure disappear, Zhao Cheng grumbled resentfully. "Wong Duet just got promoted twice and already turned her back on us." A holy profession girl on the team quickly waved her hand to defend. "Don't say that Duet isn't that kind of person. She must really have something going on." Zhao Cheng frowned suspiciously. Does anyone else feel tired chasing after her? Now she not only completed her S-level mission promotion, but also awakened a new hidden profession. The gap between her and everyone else will only grow wider. I'm afraid one day she'll give up and leave this battle team. At Old Tongue's whole lamb barbecue restaurant, Ning Feng was excited over the fragrant meat. To him, the prices were fair and the taste excellent. He smiled brightly and said to Wong Duet, "Sure enough, only by following Miss Wong can one enjoy such delicacies." She replied, her eyes sparkling with gratitude, mainly thanking him for giving her the badge, which really helped a lot. Ning Feng chewed the meat eagerly while raising an eyebrow and asking, "Is that badge what activated a new hidden profession for you?" He pondered, scrolling through the memories of the Demon King. Indeed, in this time-space, the professions of awakeners haven't reached their optimal form. Ning Feng guessed that badges like that must be one of the key methods for upgrading. Wong Duet's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Where exactly did the badge you gave me come from?" Ning Feng scratched his head sheepishly and chuckled. "I'm not really sure myself." Hearing that, Wong Duet sighed sadly with regret. "If I could buy one, that would be great. I want to give them to you and the teammates." Ning Feng smiled, understanding her kindness. As always, Wong Duet thought of him whenever something interesting happened. He quietly replied, "If I don't know, Wong Duet said she'll find a way." She immediately comforted him sincerely. "Don't give up on leveling up. Now that it's this dangerous, having more power to protect yourself is definitely better. Wait for me to find a suitable badge for you. Who knows, you might even activate a new profession." Ning Feng laughed loudly, teasingly. "Leveling up by myself is such a hassle. Having you protect me is enough." This made Wong Duet blush with anger and shout, "Don't joke around. I'm being serious." Suddenly her face grimaced as if in pain. Ning Feng worriedly asked and learned she was injured during an S-level mission. She reassured him gently. "After all, it was an S-level mission. The boss's damage is no joke. I probably need to rest for a while." Just then, Ning Feng's phone rang. The caller was cold on the other end. "Are you Ning Feng? You don't need to know who I am. I'm asking where you got that badge of yours from." Suddenly asked about the badge, Ning Feng froze for a moment, then straight up hung up. Wong Duet frowned curiously and asked what's going on. Yet he shrugged irritably. Some jerk with a hostile tone asked where his badge came from. "What's this about? I haven't told anyone else, and I don't care who that guy is." Ning Feng kept chewing the fragrant meat, but less than a minute later the phone rang again. This time the guy on the other end shouted angrily, "Damn it, how dare you hang up on Lao Tzu? You refuse the toast but want to drink the penalty." With Wong Duet here, Fong didn't want to show off. He just quietly hung up without a word. After finishing the meal and talking about the strange guy bothering him on the phone, Nin Fong smiled slightly to reassure Wong Duet not to worry about him. It's probably just nonsense. Arriving home, Nin Fong yawned, ready to fall asleep, but the scene in front of him snapped him wide awake. Everything in the house was overturned, belongings scattered clearly. Someone had just ransacked it. At that moment, a blond man with a haughty expression stepped out from the shadows, sneering, "Young Master Nin is back. Are you the one who just called? Heh, that's right. I already warned you, if you don't want to drink the toast, you'll have to drink the penalty." If you had been honest with me earlier, none of this would have happened. But Ninfong's eyes flashed dangerously, his voice cold as ice. Who sent you? The blond man seemed not to notice the arrogance still burning in Fong's eyes. You're just a newly awakened trash daring to talk to me like that. Didn't they teach you in class? When facing a strong expert, you should show respect, right? Suddenly, someone attacked Ninfong from behind, but he was too slow compared to Fong's reflexes. With a simple elbow strike, Ninfong distorted the attacker's face and knocked him out, taking him out of the fight. Seeing this, the blond man's face went pale and his eyes widened in terror. What? Ninfong smirked sarcastically. I'll give that back to you. When facing a strong opponent, you must show respect. Now the blond man began to panic. The info clearly stated Ninfong was just a level 1 mage, yet he easily defeated a level 3 assassin without breaking a sweat. He secretly prepared a dart to try to ambush Ninfong again. Ninfong was slightly surprised by his strength. Every attribute increased by 100 points. Not only his reflexes, but also his speed greatly improved enough to handle many situations even when using magic. Just then the blond man threw the dart toward him. Ninfong easily dodged, and ironically the dart hit his ally instead. The blond man went pale, realizing he couldn't win, and fled in panic. Thinking he had escaped, just as he lifted his foot to jump, Ninfong swiftly grabbed him tightly. The man trembled, knowing he had no choice but to obediently follow Ninfong's cold order to clean up everything. You mess up, you pay. As requested, the group left everything behind, only keeping the shorts they wore. Seeing this, Ninfong nodded in satisfaction and asked, Who sent you? The blond man muttered, It's Triu Trin, the eldest young master of the Tuksu Guild. He said you have a special kind of badge. He couldn't find it anywhere, so he hired us to get information from you. Hearing the name Trio Tring, Ninfong smirked. He's a mage in Ungjuit's guild. If he's playing dirty, I won't hold back either. He suddenly remembered a spell he had never used and thought this was a good chance to try it out. On Trio Tring, he cast a spell called Beast Transformation, a dark-type magic that uses mental power to control the target's mind, turning them into a powerful clone for a short time, disturbing their mind and possessing them perfect for him. Ninfong murmured beside Trio Tring tonight's party lacked Ungjuit, so he found it dull and ended early to take his buddies elsewhere. About the badge, he confidently showed off to his close friends that he had sent people to find Ninfong. If that kid doesn't cooperate, he'll taste what it means to be worse off dead than alive. One friend worried if Ungjuit finds out, it'll be a big problem. Trio Tring sneered arrogantly, I don't care. Or do you want her to have him all to herself? Hearing that, Trio Trin shrugged, his voice full of regret. That's true, but unfortunately this transfer mission isn't as simple as you say. To teach Ungni a lesson, I was told to let him release the boss a bit to crush Ungjuit's spirit to scare her. When the time comes, I will step in as the hero to save the beauty. Unexpectedly, Ungjuit risked her life. Even injured, she still killed the boss. Just then, a tall figure suddenly appeared before them. They recognized him as the blond guy sent to find Ninfong. Trio Tring snapped. That bastard, why did you suddenly show up? Did you get the information I wanted? The blond guy didn't answer, but asked, strangely in return, Are you the ones who caused Duet Knee's injuries? The question stunned Trio Trin and his team. He stepped forward, slapped the blond guy hard in the face, and shouted, How dare you pry into Lao Tu-Ha's business? What's wrong with you? But as soon as he finished speaking, Trio Trin felt a terrifying surge of power erupt. The blond guy was none other than Ninfong in disguise, now gripping his neck with both hands, his eyes blazing like fire, his voice cold. If you dare hurt Duet Knee, you don't deserve to live in this world, but I won't let you die easily either. Instantly, Trio Trin and his companions' bodies began to distort, as if their souls were being drained, disintegrating bit by bit. Just moments later, both completely vanished as if they never existed. Using a forbidden spell, Ninfong turned them into dust, erasing every trace. He smirked inwardly, thinking this was the perfect way to leave no evidence. But this incident made Ninfong feel uneasy. His house was just a normal unit in a small neighborhood. He couldn't stop fake awakeners from coming and going. Although with his current strength, he feared no one, he couldn't stay home 24/7. At first, he planned to use the Demon King's memories to create some important items, but now he was glad he hadn't started. Otherwise, he feared outsiders would have discovered it and caused big trouble. Ninfong decided to clean up roughly, then temporarily stay at Doan's house. After all, he was a 4th-tier powerhouse, and his villa had much better security than Ninfong's place. At Do-An's villa, Ninfong recounted everything that had just happened. Do-An's face darkened. After hearing his eyes blazing with anger, he growled, "Whoever dares lay a hand on the big boss really has no fear of death." Then he turned to Ninfong, his voice low and determined. "Big boss, you rest for a bit. I'll quickly investigate if there's any other bastard behind this dirty business." Ninfong waved his hand calmly, but with a sharp glint in his eyes. "No need to rush. Actually, I have something else to ask you. Do you know any trustworthy alchemists?" A request that only requires a slightly high skill level enough to place trust in. Ideally, they should have a free identity with as few ties as possible. Do-An furrowed his brow, thought for a moment, then replied, "If so, I know an alchemist whose skill isn't bad, but they've already joined a big guild." Hearing that, Ninfong shook his head resolutely. "No, in the memories absorbed from the Demon King, you know the Demon King once wiped out some high-level alchemists whose medicines were far superior to those in this world. Unfortunately, I don't know the details, so I can only collect antidotes and find an expert to refine them. However, alchemists in big guilds usually can't protect themselves well, and the risk of secrets leaking is higher. After today's lesson, I don't want to attract greedy people so soon." After thinking for a moment, Ninfong looked at Do-An seriously. "If there's a chance later, please help me keep an eye out. I'll also ask others." Right after Uong Duet stepped forward, her eyes brightening as she introduced, "If Ninfong is interested, I know a reliable alchemist. He's the older brother of my team's pastor, Tu Din Chien. His skills are quite good. He originally planned to join my guild, but Trio Trin and he didn't get along, so no agreement was reached." Hearing the name Trio Trin, Ninfong slightly curled his lips, a sarcastic smile briefly appearing. Wang Juet was truly unlucky to have been on the same team with that guy. But thankfully, thanks to you, she escaped that disaster. From now on, Trio Trin will no longer have a chance to cause trouble for you." Suddenly, Ninfong's intention to find an alchemist made Wang Juet curious. Her eyes sparkled with interest. Mr. Wang Juet looked at Ninfong curiously, his eyes shining with doubt. "Why do you want to find an alchemist?" To answer, Ninfong smiled slightly, his voice calm. "I just found some medicines in the house, so I want to invite someone over to take a look." He mentioned again the badge he'd given her, saying he found it in the house, and this time too, which made Uong Duyet suspicious. Ninfong could only smile awkwardly and say, "I'm just cleaning the house and asked Uong Duet to organize." Ninfong quickly met the alchemist, whose name was Tu Nui, a refined gentleman radiating scholarly charisma. Upon meeting Tu Nui, he looked at Ninfong steadily and said, "Hand me the formula so I can take a look." Outside, Tu Din waited with an annoyed expression after being kicked out by her brother. She had planned to cozy up to Ninfong, but reluctantly stood aside. Meanwhile, Tu Nui examined Ninfong's formula, intently furrowing his brow as he remarked, "The ingredients are nothing special but the refining method." He had never seen such a relatively complex medicine before, then looked up and asked if Ninfong knew the effects of this medicine. Ninfong replied he heard it could increase experience gained by 100%. Hearing this, Tu Nui was startled, eyes wide in amazement. It was the first time he had heard about such a thing. He explained that the highest experience-boosting medicine currently on the market only reached 40%, and it was already expensive. If there really was a medicine that doubled experience, wouldn't even 1- or 2-star professions level up as fast as before? Ninfong nodded cautiously, roughly saying that although it seemed so, he wasn't sure and didn't want to casually ask others, so he came to him for guidance. Tu Nui nodded, eyes bright with determination. "I'll start testing right now. Just wait outside for a bit." Ninfong stepped outside to wait when suddenly a piercing scream from Tu Nui burst out of the lab, startling everyone. From the sound, everyone guessed something terrible had happened inside and rushed in to see. At the door, Tu Ding saw Tu Nui's experimental slim creature frantically flying out smoke and fire billowing thickly, and the lab was a mess as if a fierce battle had just taken place. Yet Tu Ngui looked radiant, his fingers sparking slightly as he excitedly whispered, "It worked. It's really 100%. I drank the medicine." Tu Ding stood dumbfounded, eyes wide, unable to understand what he meant. Tu Nui turned to Ninfong with a bright smile. "Little brother Nin, I drank a bit of the medicine from the formula and tested it with Slim. The experience really increased by 100%. Ninfong nodded slightly, secretly thrilled. If this formula works, maybe others will too. Seeing Tunhui excited, Ninfong smiled softly while Tunhui resumed summoning fireballs, making the lab even more chaotic. Tooting stared in disbelief at the scene before her. Her brother, who usually treasured the lab like gold, was today destroying it with his own hands. At this moment, Wang Juet and Tuding understood the medicine's effect. Tunhui had just tested the 100% experience boost, and both were shocked with their mouths agape. Tunhui quickly gestured, lowering his voice. "Keep your mouth shut. Be careful to keep it a secret." Then he looked at Ninfong with sparkling eyes. "What's next? If we sell it outside, we could definitely make an unimaginably large sum. It's very dangerous out there now. No one would refuse something that boosts their power." Ninfong pondered quietly, not answering immediately, his eyes filled with thought. Just then, his phone buzzed with a new message in the group chat from Ms. Kai, the school teacher. She announced that the school planned to organize all third-year students to level up in the secret zone of a neighboring city starting next Monday. Since the group was small, classes would be divided by area and time, and everyone was asked to prepare carefully and cooperate actively. As soon as the message was sent, the group chat buzzed with activity. Some classmates discussed that the secret zone had been overcrowded lately. Monsters weren't enough to divide among groups because everywhere was in chaos, with many 1- and 2-star professions killing to level up for self-protection. Many rushed to buy experience potions but heard they sold out in seconds. Without them, they feared falling behind. After reading the message, Ninfong nodded slightly, eyes flashing determination. "With this experience, medicine, I'll let my loved ones use it first." After some thought, he said solemnly, "Only after some time will I sell it." Hearing this, Tudin's eyes brightened excitedly as she turned to him and asked if she and he were family. When Ninfong said yes, she shouted with excitement, "You're the big brother now." She patted her chest, declaring that from now on, she and Uong Duet would be his bodyguards, and her brother could use it freely without formality. Ninfong smiled faintly with deep eyes. He knew once this medicine hit the market, it would become a precious treasure capable of shaking everything. The benefits were so great that people like Tru Trin would surely swarm over. To be safe first, he had to nurture those close to him and strengthen his own power. At that time, if anyone acts rashly, you will decide what to do next. Then Ninfong suddenly remembered Uong Juit's battle team. He looked at her calmly and said, "In your team, there's a berserker named Chu Jiang, right? I want to share part of this experience medicine with him." Uong Juit and Tuding brightened their eyes happy on behalf of Chu Jiang. Yesterday, he was still worried about not having enough strength to pass the university entrance exam. Along with everyone, Ninfong evaluated Chu Jiang as not bad and having a close relationship with Uong Duit. That will definitely be useful later. At this moment, Tungui's sparkling eyes also began to call Ninfong the big boss. He looked at him curiously. "Are there any other medicines like this?" Ninfong didn't answer immediately, silently handing another prescription to Tungui to check. Tungui carefully examined the medicine, frowning slightly. It listed many ingredients he had never heard of. Only 2 pages of ingredients he recognized, but at his current level he couldn't make it. Ninfong nodded slightly, his eyes showing a hint of contemplation. "Just as you predicted, this is medicine from another world. Being able to use a few types is already a miracle." Ninfong Uong Juit suddenly interjected with excitement. "Since we're talking about this, I have an idea. Once the first experience medicine is finished, we'll call the big tree to level up together." She looked at Ninfong with a bright smile. "You're coming along for this leveling session, right?" Though Ninfong intended to decline, Uong Juit was firm, her eyes sparkling. "Don't worry, the city just announced that guilds are allowed to organize battle teams to level up outside. You just need to go along with everyone." So on Monday morning, Ninfong stood waiting for Uong Juit's battle team at the meeting point. Just then, a bus carrying his class rushed by. Seeing Ninfong, some students on the bus sneered mockingly. "He's not going out to level up. What's he doing carrying sandbags for the whole class?" Another joined in with a scornful tone. "Not even a servant, this loser going into the secret realm who's protecting who?" A different voice bitterly said about that useless guy, "He doesn't even have time for that. Better off just sleeping at the entrance of the secret realm." A long line of people queued up waiting to get in. Ms. Kai was leading Ninfong's class as they waited. It was expected to be about 2 more hours before their turn. The students started getting impatient, complaining about the long wait. Ms. Kai calmly reassured them, "Our Class 2 is the first group allowed in. Getting in is already very good." Just then, the whole class suddenly froze. They widened their eyes, seeing Nin Fong, the one they just mocked, walking proudly alongside Uong Duet's battle team. The scene of Nin Fong striding in with Uong Duet's team, bypassing the line and marching confidently into the secret realm, left the whole class stunned and filled with jealousy. Ms. Ki observed the thoughtful look in their eyes and guessed that Nin Fong's group planned to infiltrate deep inside. But what made everyone whisper was that their team only had a few people unlike the crowded masses here. Some jealous people bitterly said, "How dare Nin Fong go deep inside the secret realm? A random monster could easily kill him." Another angrily glared, eyes burning red. "What's so inferior about me compared to that loser Nin Fong? I also want to be led by Uong, the goddess of the Tuksu Guild." Just then a stranger approached curiously. "Is the goddess Uong you two just mentioned Uong Duet?" "Yes, Uong Duet, the 5th-ranked boss on the National Supernova Leaderboard." After hearing confirmation, this person immediately led his team, charging straight into the secret realm. Watching them enter calmly, someone standing outside ground his teeth in jealousy. "Are those guys from some noble family or what? You don't know them." Another person replied with a tone mixed with admiration and dissatisfaction. "Why do those three look like Uong Duet? They are all figures on the National Rookie Star Leaderboard. Tung Mak Ha is rank at 4th, Lee Kek is 3rd, and the 2nd place is Kovan Chu." At this time, Uong Duet's team had already progressed deep into the secret realm. Tuding secretly handed the experience potion to Chu Jiang to take. He was so excited he couldn't help but shout loudly, "This is an experience potion that increases by 100%. Tuding quickly hit him a few times, frowning and whispering sharply, "Shut your mouth. What afraid others can't hear." Chu Jiang scratched his head and smiled awkwardly from excitement. He turned to ask Tung Ngui if this kind of medicine is very expensive. Tung Ngui smiled calmly. "Actually, it's quite reasonable. The ingredients aren't considered too rare and the crafting method isn't too complicated, but precisely because of that, this medicine is valuable. If you can increase your strength at a relatively low cost, I believe no one would refuse. With this, brother Nin Fong will become a top VIP guest of any guild." Hearing that, both Chu Jiang and Tuding looked at Nin Fong with eyes full of respect, saying in unison, "Big boss, no need to say thanks. If anything comes up later, just say the word directly." Hearing that, Nin Fong smiled warmly. "We're all family here, no need for formalities." His relaxed demeanor made Uong Duet quietly breathe a sigh of relief and feel reassured. She understood well that Nin Fong was not good at socializing, and his friends were always few, especially since he was 5 to 6 years old. After the failed awakening, the whole school mocked him, making him more closed off, rarely showing a joyful smile like now. Uong Duet silently hoped that from now on, Nin Fong would regain a more open spirit soon. "Your safety is the top priority. Nin Fong, you don't need to fight to avoid attracting monsters' attention. I will be responsible for luring enemies. The great tree mainly defends against foes. Tuding, remember to use attribute boosting skills. Brother Hai will adapt and use potions flexibly." Hearing Uong Duet's arrangement, Nin Fong furrowed his brow and thought deeply. If this continues, it's hard to level up quickly, but seeing everyone united like this? He smiled slightly and silently told himself maybe he should cooperate a bit. After all, using a forbidden charm to level up only takes 1 or 2 days, no rush. For now, let's first understand everyone's actual strength. So Uong Duet and Jung Kung each dashed forward, instantly killing a few monsters in the blink of an eye. Then Tuding unleashed a lightning strike, encouraging smooth cooperation with Chu Jiang. The two created a terrifying aftershock. One sword sweep wiped out the whole group of monsters. The finishing blow was by Tu Nui. His potion exploded, burning the monsters to ashes. After the perfect cooperation, Tu Nui was excited with eyes shining bright. Didn't expect the experience points to increase so quickly. If this continues, we might be able to craft new potions soon. He turned to Chu Jiang and Tuding and laughed loudly. Jiang Thu and Tuding can also reach level 2 before the exam. They'll be strong enough to compete with Uong Duet for admission to a key university. Just then a hearty laugh echoed from deep inside the cave. Chu Jiang frowned and shouted, "Who's there?" A figure stepped out laughing and said, "Forgive me, I didn't mean to laugh, but I really couldn't help it. A bunch who aren't even level 2 yet want to enter a key university. So easy, interesting." Tuding narrowed his eyes and immediately recognized them as some of the people on the National Rookie Star Leaderboard. The leader, Kovan Chu, laughed heartily. "Looks like our reputation isn't bad after all. recognized us so quickly?" Chu Jiang asked in a low voice. "Aren't these people from near Tandu City?" Showing up here again, Wang Juyet stepped forward with a cold glare. "Our group is leveling up." "What's your business here?" Ko Van Chu smiled confidently. "Wang Juyet, we specially came here to find you. I want to ask you something. Are you interested in joining our battle team?" The offer sounded tempting, but Wang Juyet didn't care and replied bluntly, "No thanks, I have my own battle team." She raised an eyebrow with sarcasm. "I know your team even has a mage named Triu Trin, ranked 14th on the National Rookie Star leaderboard. If he agrees, you might get to try a little, though. The ranking is a bit low, but consider it a favor to you." Van Chu laughed without any hesitation. "Right, I haven't made it clear yet. Why are you so quick to refuse?" "This tiny Tandu city must have somewhat outdated information." Ko Van Chu curled her lips arrogantly. "Let me explain a bit. Because the secret realm frequently changes, and monsters are getting harder to fight. The 3 key universities have raised their evaluation standards. This year, they only recruit elite teams or individuals. The conditions are very favorable, but the spots are scarce. This is a rare opportunity. We elite students form a battle team. We are no exception. The reason I chose you is because of your team. Don't forget you are someone destined to become a strong warrior." Then he glanced at Chu Jiang and Tu Din with eyes full of contempt. "They are just a bunch of weaklings. That is their greatest sin." Ko Van Chu's words were as sharp as a knife, making Wang Duyet tighten his sword. His eyes blazed, ready to charge into battle. Tu Ding quickly stepped forward to advise them to leave. "Let's move to another spot to level up. No need to bother with these people." Hearing this, Wang Duyet snorted coldly and refused to argue. He signaled his team to move quickly. The whole team began to move, but Ningfeng still stood there, lost in thought. He muttered silently that this mage's name really gets under his skin. Then Duyet Ni awakened a new profession. "I don't know if we can fight them back." Just then, a tall guy suddenly blocked the way with a domineering voice. "Are you Trio Chin?" Ningfeng replied, "No." The guy immediately switched to a contemptuous attitude, called him trash, and told him to get lost. As soon as the words ended, Ningfeng's eyes flashed with killing intent, like a fire about to blaze. But before he could act, Chu Jiang rushed forward and stood in front of him, shouted loudly, "Don't be so outrageous. You alone want to save someone." The guy said nothing more and immediately launched an attack straight at Chu Jiang. Seeing the dangerous situation, Wang Duyet was about to rush forward to support Chu Jiang. But Ko Van Chu deliberately blocked her way to stop her. His shameless action made Wang Duyet furious. She glared fiercely and shouted, "Get lost quickly." Still, Ko Van Chu stood there thick-skinned as if not hearing anything. On the other side, Chu Jiang's situation worsened. After the last blow, he held his chest as if several ribs were broken. Despite the pain, he gritted his teeth and stood to block Ningfeng. He shouted loudly, "Step back a little." But the man opposite became even more arrogant, sneering with contempt. "Jiang Thu is just a useless guy." The insult poured fuel on the fire. Chu Jiang couldn't hold back, raised his fist, intending to punch the man's face. But he was a step too slow. The opponent's fist was already close to his face. Ningfeng, Wang Duyet, and Tu Ding simultaneously raised their weapons ready to charge in. But before they could act, a figure flashed. Ningfeng had acted without anyone noticing. With one hand, he gently blocked the arrogant man's attack. This scene left everyone around with their mouths open and eyes wide as if witnessing a miracle. The man opposite Ningfeng was utterly confused, muttering why he couldn't move. Isn't his outfit that of a mage? Why does he have such great power? While the man was still thinking, Ningfeng grabbed his hand, throwing hard as if tossing a sandbag. When done, he curled his lips coldly and said he was useless. Seeing his teammate defeated miserably, Ko Van Chu rushed over to help. But before he could take a few steps, Wang Duyet drew her bow and shot an arrow hitting his butt. Ko Van Chu screamed in pain, eyes tearing, clutching his butt and jumping. The perfect coordination between Wang Duyet and Ningfeng stunned Tu Din, silently wondering how a bare-handed mage could defeat a berserker warrior, an archer, and melee fighters who had shielded themselves with their bodies. Is this a dream? Ko Van Chu and Li Kak, both elites on the super rookie list, now just stand there stunned. Ningfeng no longer bothered to hide his power. His cold voice echoed, "I just want to live peacefully, but one or two people keep forcing me to reveal my hand, really annoying." He turned to Tu Ding and ordered decisively, "Quickly heal the big tree. Don't just stand there. Listen to Tu Din and quickly use your skills to start treating Chu Jiang." As for that group of supernovae, Ningfeng glanced over and asked Daishu how he wanted to deal with them. Chu Jiang scratched his head respectfully. I don't really know either. Everyone is following your orders. This form of address made Ningfeng pause, feeling momentarily unfamiliar. The sudden respectful attitude of everyone made him a little embarrassed, thinking for a moment. Ningfeng squinted and ordered Daishu to go ahead and strip their gear as compensation. Hearing that, Ko Vanchu shouted, his face flushed red. Is this robbery? How dare you? Before he finished, Ningfeng threw a punch that sent Ko Vanchu flying more than 10 meters. He stepped closer, his fist clenched, voice cold as ice. What did you just say? Ko Vanchu's expression immediately turned dumbfounded as he stammered. Actually, my gear isn't bad either. If you like it, just take it. He hurriedly added with a trembling voice, Consider this you're being reasonable. I'm someone who really hates trouble. If I find out you're plotting revenge behind my back... Before Ningfeng could finish, Ko Vanchu frantically swore there would be no revenge. If we turn a blind eye and don't see Tai-sun, then we deserve what happens to us. Beside her, the girls in the Supernova group also automatically took off their gear and handed it to Tu Din, inviting Ningfeng to inspect. Seeing this, Ningfeng was briefly stunned and praised that she was quite sensible. Finished, he decisively said to the group, Consider this matter settled here. Our team move on ahead to continue leveling up. The whole team moved. Wang Duet spoke up, eyes sparkling as she looked at Ningfeng, initially wanting to lead him to level up. Who knew you'd be this formidable, yeah. Wang Duet frowned with a hint of reproach. You know I'm newly awakened, right? If you show off too much, it'll cause trouble. Yeah. She shook her head with a light laugh. If you're not going to say anything, I won't ask more. Anyway, you're always like this. Suddenly, she turned and patted Ningfeng's shoulder warmly. Thanks for still being Duyet Ni, who understands me best. Ningfeng smiled in response, making Wang Duet blush briefly. She patted his shoulder again excitedly. No matter what, I'm just happy you're here. At this moment, both Chu Jiang and Tu Din looked at Ningfeng, curiously wondering if he had decided which university or guild to join yet. Ningfeng shook his head slightly calmly. I haven't thought about that yet. Hearing that, Tu Ding and Chu Jiang nodded, their eyes shining with admiration. Tu Ding sighed. If only I could be like the elder, that would be great. No need to worry about exams. The reason Ningfeng hadn't rushed a decision was because he understood clearly. Just a little carelessness and his secret could be exposed. For him, joining those places seemed unnecessary. With that thought, Ningfeng enthusiastically turned to his teammates, decisively saying, Let's go deeper. Speed up leveling. Every time Duyet Ni pulls more monsters, I'll be the main force. The rest just need to clean up the stragglers. Even without using forbidden spells, thanks to extra attributes and passive skills combined with gear, Ningfeng was still strong enough to dominate. After several days of leveling in the secret realm, he returned to the Doan mansion looking exhausted. He sighed, thinking to himself, After hard work for days, I only leveled up once. Without the new experience potions, the speed would be even slower. Used to clearing monsters and leveling quickly with forbidden spells, he almost forgot this was the normal leveling pace. Supernovae like Wang Duet could reach level 60 in 2 years, completing 2 transfers. For a typical 2-star profession, taking the college entrance exam normally would be less tiring than killing small monsters daily. Thinking this made Ningfeng even more lethargic, he muttered, No more thinking. Just stay home, be lazy, and relax for a few days. If I don't get stronger, I'll still have to fight like everyone else. Right after Ningfeng plunged into days of wild partying, he and Doan, along with the gang, fought intense game battles, then fell asleep snoring. Afterwards, they ate and drank heartily, enjoying free life. Suddenly, his phone rang. Duong Hin called, excited. There's an auction coming up soon. I heard there are many good items. Master Duong just arrived. He wants to ask if you're interested in joining. The Master Duong that Duong Hin mentioned is the replacement for Master Vuong. Ningfeng yawned, his voice lazy. I haven't really had anything to do lately anyway. I can just drop by and take a look. But before he could go anywhere, Duong Hin smiled brightly. No need for you to come. In a bit, Master Duong and I will come directly to your place. We'll send you the auction item list in advance. Hearing this, Ningfeng slightly curled his lips silently, judging that this Master Duong seemed more personable than that Master Vuong. Before long, Duong Jiat Tai and Duong Hin arrived at the villa. Duong Jiat Tai, an appraiser from the Tandu Remote City Branch Trading Office, entered with a respectful demeanor. Seeing Ningfeng, he went to shake his hand, but quickly bowed his head lower, speaking respectfully. I dare not. I dare not. This is our first meeting. I hope you, Elder Sir, will kindly look after me. The reason Duong Jat Tai was so deferential was because before coming, Mayor Tai had specifically instructed him to serve Ning Feng attentively. The mayor even emphasized that it would be fine if the entire exchange only served Nin Feng alone. After greetings, Duong Jat Tai instructed Duong Hin quickly give Nin the auction list to review. Nin Feng glanced through a few pages, his gaze indifferent. There were only a few pieces of equipment and medicines suitable for mages, but he paid no attention to them. Seeing him browse the list as fast as the wind, Duong Jat Tai broke out in a cold sweat, thinking silently, "We're doomed." Elder Nin looked through it so quickly, but nothing caught his eye. "We underestimated his strength. This time the cure will turn out worse than the wound." Just then, Nin Feng's eyes suddenly stopped as if he noticed something. Duong Jat Tai hurriedly spoke up, his eyes sparkling with admiration. "Your eyesight is truly sharp. You indeed picked this one. This is the newest experience potion that can increase experience gained by 100%. Extremely rare, most suitable for high-level elders to level up." But hearing this, Nin Feng's heart surged with suspicion. This 100% experience potion is exactly what he and Tu Nui had concocted. Now it appeared on the auction list, causing him to doubt. He looked sternly at Duong Jat Tai, his voice cold. "Where did you get this potion from?" Duong Jat Tai quickly replied respectfully, "This item was entrusted to the auction house by the Thuong Hue Guild." Elder Nin asked, "What's the story?" Thuong Hue Guild, one of the 7 top national guilds with formidable strength. Nin Feng frowned, guessing silently. Either Tu Nui secretly sold the potion to them, or someone did something to Tu Nui. He continued to question, his gaze sharp. "Did they ever say where they got this medicine?" Duong Jat Tai explained quickly, "I heard they discovered a new type of secret realm called the Divine Trial. It can only be conquered alone. This secret realm seems divided into many levels. Each time you pass a level of the trial, you receive corresponding rewards. This potion is one of the rewards for members who complete the trial." Duan, standing nearby, frowned lightly. "This is the first time I've heard that name. Could it be a mutated secret realm?" He turned to Nin Feng to add, "According to government regulations, any secret realm that begins cultivation must be registered. Basic information can be checked from the government website." Hearing this, Nin Feng breathed a slight sigh of relief, feeling more at ease. Good that Tu Nui has no problem. But the name Divine Trial gave him a sense of unusual pressure, as if that place contained formidable power. Just then, the system in his mind suddenly announced a mission. Main mission Divine Trial Secret Realm. Conquer the secret realm and turn it into your power. Time limit 60 days. Penalty for failure, the host will be destroyed. After hearing the mission, Nin Feng felt his blood boil, his eyes shining brightly with excitement. This was the first time the system assigned a mission, and the name Divine Trial gave him a strange, potent attraction. He turned to Duong Jat Tai and Duong Hin, his voice gentle but resolute. "I will not participate in this auction. Anyway, I thank Master Duong and Duong Hin for coming here." These words made Duong Jat Tai and Duong Hin momentarily embarrass their eyes, showing surprise. They didn't expect Nin Feng to be indifferent to the auction. So many guilds were competing fiercely for it, yet Elder Nin showed no interest. But what Nin Feng cared about wasn't the auction, but the Divine Trial Secret Realm. Duan immediately started searching. In an excited voice, "Let me check the information on this secret realm right now." However, to access information about the Divine Trial requires a special permission account. Fortunately, Do-An had a privilege card granted earlier by Mayor Truong. It helped him log in successfully. Before them appeared an image of a majestic tower, the Divine Trial Secret Realm. Du-An frowned. The Thuong Hue Guild had registered exclusive rights. The government allowed them to manage it themselves. Outsiders without permission cannot enter. Nin Feng nodded, his eyes deep. The system's mission was clear. If not completed, he would be destroyed. He silently vowed to find another way. At the gate of the Divine Trial Secret Realm, day or night, the Thuong Hue Guild always posted strict guards. Under the faint moonlight, Nin Feng quietly observed using the forbidden spell to conceal his identity. He noticed that the Thuong Hue Guild had publicly shared a lot of information about the secret realm on personal forums to attract powerful challengers. This unintentionally helped him understand the place better. Ninfong's plan gradually took shape, a determined glint flashing in his eyes. He would use his stealth skill to infiltrate the secret realm with the forbidden spell. He was confident that no one in the Thunghui Guild could detect him. After careful calculation, Ninfong confidently charged straight in. As he passed the guards, the boy mischievously stuck out his tongue to tease them. Just as Ninfong touched the gate of the secret realm, a massive explosion suddenly blasted, hurling the guards away. Ninfong was also thrown back into the chamber, battered and bruised, looking utterly miserable. In fact, the moment Ninfong contacted the secret realm's door, a huge energy surged out from inside, shattering his corrupt earth control completely. Despite racking his brain, Ninfong couldn't comprehend what the hell had just happened. At that moment, the system continuously sent him a series of urgent warnings. The immune system checked again and detected 3% damage with 3% cumulative injury. Hearing that Ninfong was shocked, even the system was damaged. He wondered what kind of skill could be so terrifying. Then the system kept sending damage notifications. 4% damage, 3% cumulative injury. 24 hours later, aftershocks caused by the incident Ninfong triggered. A while later, someone came to the trial secret realm to check the situation. After examining the two gate guards, a man in white diagnosed that they were only shocked and dazed with no physical injuries. At that moment, one guard regained consciousness, and upon opening his eyes, he saw the guild president right in front of him, which startled him. That person was Hasuvu, president of the Thunghe Guild. He asked about the recent incident. "What happened just now?" The guard replied with a trembling voice, "I don't know either. The secret realm gate suddenly exploded and I passed out. Did anything happen before that?" Could it be that the secret realm experienced some anomaly? To clarify the situation, the young woman had earlier created a special magic array. This magic array could reverse time because the secret realm possessed a unique array that not only recorded images inside and around, but could also rewind time to review past events. After a while, the image on the array gradually became clear, but it was only a vague shadow details indistinguishable. At that moment, Thon Min suddenly appeared, speaking with great authority. "I am the divine overseer. How dare you trespass on my domain?" As his words ended, he unleashed a direct strike against the shadow. Unfortunately, all his efforts were in vain. He could do nothing. Immediately, he ordered his men to track down that figure, determined not to let him destroy this world. Then the shadow image of Ninfong was brought to the guild. They believed this was the first real glimpse of Thon Min's existence. This was Lu Anchen, chairman of the Weiwu Qingquin Guild. He assessed that although Thon Min's identity was unclear, the magic he unleashed was enough to reach the legendary Kam Chu level. Following Lu Ainchun, Qingwin Guild President Feng Chu spoke up. Guild leader Hawai recall from reports that passing the trial could grant blessings and certification from Than Min right. Du Linhua, president of the Thung Tu Guild, interjected. There is indeed such information in the secret realm, but we didn't expect the real Than Min to appear. She continued, Kam Chu level magic cannot destroy the evil god. This may be good news. Hearing her, Lak Nuiet Nin agreed. If the evil god intends to destroy the world, we probably have no way to deal with it. If passing the trial grants the blessing of Than Min, I wonder if there's a way to counter the evil god such as that Kam Chu level magic. Maybe it really is possible. Could be. Hearing them discuss so passionately just now, Hasuvu clearly understood their intention was to raid the trial secret realm. They want to take this opportunity to have you open the door for them. After thinking for a moment, Hasuvu also spoke. If you want to participate in the trial, I have no objection, but I must remind everyone the monsters in the trial secret realm are extremely ferocious. Based on our current strength, we simply cannot pass through the grace of the divine light. I'm afraid we don't have the qualifications. But before Hasuvu finished, Liu Anchan wasn't very concerned. His gaze turned to Old Feng to ask for his opinion. The portrait of Old Feng appeared radiating a mysterious and eerie aura with blazing red eyes and even teeth. Aren't each of you strong and capable? In response, Li Anchan sighed. Don't be angry, it's not a big deal yet, which is why you were called back. Old Feng narrowed his eyes, showing dissatisfaction. In your eyes, aside from us aberrants, what could possibly be a big deal? My disciple reports there's something unusual in Tandu City. If you don't care, fine, but why start an investigation team? And in the end, the investigation got nothing and you made a big fuss. If it weren't for the mysterious elder of Tandu City helping you clean up that mess, how many innocent civilians would you have harmed? At this point, Old Feng's image became crystal clear. He no longer looked human, but exactly like the legendary Feng Gak, the former person in charge. Seeing this appearance of hers, Leon Chan didn't dare to look directly. He reminded her to calm down. Her temper flared up again, and she ended up like this. The reason was that the price of dark power was becoming increasingly severe, so some people asked to withdraw. Unexpectedly today, he appeared here. At this point, Leon Chan spoke again to Old Feng. My personal opinion is whether your disciple could show the footage to the mysterious elder of Tandu City. With the strength of that elder, he might know something. Hearing this, Old Feng laughed sarcastically. You only remember my disciple now, you really. Before Old Feng finished, Leon Chan interrupted, saying he had 2 barrels of fine wine to bring over later to praise your disciple's achievements. Your disciple's achievements are also about to be approved. Only then did Old Feng start to soften and agree to Leon Chan's proposal. Meanwhile, for Ningfeng, the system just sent a new mission titled, No Problem, It's a Small Matter. Achieve 2 complete recoveries, system deadline 60 out of 60 days. Penalty for failure, the host is destroyed. Reading the mission title, Ningfeng felt no concern despite the system being damaged. Thinking back, Ningfeng still felt scared last night, wondering what he had done wrong. Stepping into the living room, Ningfeng saw Old Feng and To Lam sitting with Doan. Upon seeing Ningfeng, all 3 stood up immediately. Old Feng looked at Ningfeng kindly and smiled, asking, You must be Ningfeng's classmate, right? At that moment, Ningfeng froze, surprised, and asked, Who are you? Hearing his question, To Lam introduced, This is the former person in charge of the agency, the current director of the Adventurer Management Bureau, Old Master Feng Nak. This is Old Master Feng's disciple, the person in charge of the provincial agency, To Lam. Today, the 2 came here seeking help from the mysterious elder. After learning the old man's identity before him, Ningfeng was quite shocked. He gaped and asked again, Are you Master Feng the Red Flame Reaper? Responding to Ningfeng, Old Feng only smiled lightly and said, That's just a bit of a false reputation not worth mentioning. He said that, but no one doesn't know his reputation. He's achieved countless merits, participated in many large-scale secret realm explorations, and smashed many cruel adventurer organizations. He is known as the strongest aberrant. Almost all members' identities in the agency are kept secret, but Old Master Feng is an exception because his existence is a shock. He is considered an idol in the hearts of many young people. Elder Feng is definitely among the top 3. If anyone can meet him and have a few words, it's truly enough to boast about for half a lifetime. The first time we met Ningfeng, Elder Feng said he didn't prepare anything either. I heard you're about to take the university entrance exam. Here are 5,000 spirit coins and 200 high-level experience pills. The government entrusted us to deliver this to you, wishing you success in your studies. This 5,000 spirit coins is indeed a very large sum. Surely they didn't bring it here to give it away for no reason. Without letting you ponder for a moment, Ningfeng turned to ask Elder Feng and To Lam, What brings you 2 here? Elder Feng smiled and replied, his eyes full of probing, mainly to invite the elder to watch a video. Since we happen to be here, if you don't mind, let's watch a bit first. Second, the part Ningfeng paid special attention to in the video was the segment where he was scolded as an evil god. This was something Ningfeng absolutely could not accept. A model high school student. A good student like him didn't know when he became labeled as an evil god. After a moment of shock, Ningfeng tried to steady himself, telling himself to stay calm. At this moment, no one knows that the evil god is him, so he must not reveal any slip-ups. Thinking that Ningfeng pretended to be unaware and calmly said, I understand, wait a moment, and I will send the video to the elder. If there's any news, I will promptly inform you. Elder Feng nodded his face, showing clear satisfaction. Then we rely on you? We'll leave first waiting for good news. If you need any support afterward, just directly find To Lam. After speaking, To Lam immediately handed her business card to Ningfeng. Only then did Ningfeng realize she was the one who handled the reception on the day he transferred his position. Now everything is as clear as daylight. Exactly, your mysterious elder identity has already been discovered by them.